to my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks. You're now rocking with the best podcast in the world, the usual suspects. We in the building talking about this House of the Dragon trailer that we just got. Before we get into it right away, we'll go around the horn real quick. If you had to rate this, a scale of 1 to 10 of trailers, and if you liked it or not, we'll start with Bridgeport. Bridgeport, what would you rate this trailer?
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right, dude. I loved it because I didn't expect it. You know what I mean? I'm not like in the culture. I don't know what's going on. I had no idea what's coming. All of a sudden, I just get a pop up, and it's like same thing happened today with Westworld. So I absolutely loved it. First off, just because we got something. Secondly, It's called a teaser, but it was a 2-minute teaser. Like our teasers to me are normally like a minute long. So I thought there was a lot of good stuff in there, even though there was a little bit. It was like obvious and repeat, but yeah, I loved it.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Dude, as I always say, in high school, I was voted most easily amused. It's a 10 for me.
All right, Phil, what do you
I agree with a lot of what Bridge says. I wasn't expecting it. I try to stay away from trailers or overreact too much to trailers, but it was fun. It was great to be back in the world. Visually, it just looked impeccable. Looked like everything was sort of even an upgrade onto it. I definitely got very excited watching it, but I do think some parts of it were reminding people of other Game of Thrones. Like, let's mention the Lannisters, let's mention the Starks, let's make sure we bring some of the casual people in as well. So I actually was more emotionally, viscerally affected by the teaser that came out a couple of months ago. I think both were really good, but like in the way of seeing the first images of it. So I will give this one is 7.5, 8-ish.
I feel I'm gonna go with a 7 on this trailer. I thought it was okay. As Bridge said, listen, I didn't expect it. No one expected it. They just dropped it out of nowhere. So that it's always good. It's good to see what they've come up with and everything. And I think that when it comes to the aspects of developing a trailer, telling a story, but not giving too much of the story away, I think they did a good job at it, but I think they could have held a couple of things back. That's the reason why it's going to be so low, a little bit low for me, is I think they gave away a little bit too much. You don't have to do that. You could have did something else, but we'll get into that. What we're going to talk about is the trailer, what we liked about the trailer, what we didn't like about the trailer. Again, this is a call-in live stream. You can call in at 781-990-8509, and we're going to, give our takeaways and break down some stuff and try not to spoil the whole show for anybody. So with that said, let's get this popping. We are all here. You know who it is. The usual suspects in the building. The one and the only Kaiser Sose, Bridgeport, is here. Phil, the issues guy, is here. And the Don Tony Toughline. We are here. You see the flames? They are back in the background because this is House of the Dragon. Salute to all y'all. Cheers to my brothers and everything else. Again, if you want to call 781-990-8509.
Yeah, I was wondering if you knew that Legolas Targaryen was up that whole time.
Yeah. We had to set it up.
Intro.
Build the excitement.
Especially, I gotta change that style before I do it because go to the bubble real quick. Sorry about that.
Oh, right away. Immediately we get our first super chat. Smoking Too Hard. Love the name. Glad to see the fellas back at it. Glad to have you guys here to talk about this episode. And as Tony said, we got our call-in number. So if you guys want to share your thoughts about this episode, please do. 781-990-8509. If we miss your chat, you can text that number as well. And we got a special voicemail greeting set up tonight for the theme. We'll see if people enjoy it. I can switch it back though.
Let's go through the people rocking with us right now. We got the infamous Kiki in the building right now. Lil Crackhead 33 is in the building rocking with us. Natalie G is in the building rocking with us right now. John Haymaker is locking with. Where's the Canelo's the GOAT? Where's this? We don't see the Canelo GOAT comments. Don predicted he would lose that fight, and the Don was right. Oh, yeah, of course. I had seen that coming a mile away. Jessica Pacific is in the building right here. Makeup Therapy is rocking with us right now. Latoya Nicole, the Face Slayer.
Ooh, great name.
In the building rocking with us right now. Love all you guys. Thank everyone for coming and rocking with us. We haven't done one of these. Sidro will say what I see what's going on. No, not Modelo today. not Modelo today. You know what I mean? We haven't done one of these in a while, so great to have me back with my brothers in here and talk about this. And we have all the slides. We'll show all the pictures from the show, all the ones that are most important. All right, let me ask you this question. Let's go through this real quick. How many seasons is this fucking show gonna be?
There's two questions. How many seasons should it be, or how many seasons is it going to be? I think 3 to 5 is the magic number in there, depending on how much they want to take their time with this story. I think if they wanted to make, people could say I'm crazy with the 3, but I think it could possibly pull it off in 3 seasons if it did it right. Plus, Bridge said this in his video, and it's very true. There's a lot of room. There's a lot of development for these characters that wasn't necessarily done before, and we more have the bullet points, so they're going to take their time. So I think, realistically speaking, to get to know these characters, to make them as iconic in the Song of Ice and Fire sphere, I think 5 seasons is the magic number for me. 5.
All right, and let me say real quick for Bridge go. Thank you for the super chat from Free Your Mindset. The boys are back in town, the usual suspects. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate you waiting and rocking with us and stuff and watching us and everything else. We truly appreciate it. All right, so Bridge, how many seasons are you saying this is gonna go?
Yeah, this actually popped up in my comment section. Someone asked me that right away. And I was like, to be honest, like I know this story so well, but I never sat down and thought about how am I going to fragment it? Like what would make a good first season, second season, third season? Off the top of my head, just by like, subliminally knowing the story, I think I wrote to the person 4 or 5 seasons is what it's going to be.
All right.
Today, so offline, you know how you and I were talking, I told you like a series I was going to be working on offline. Yep. Today, I was doing real time, but I actually started thinking about something else I might do first, which is what do I think is going to be in season 1, season 2. So this is actually on my radar. I only thought about a little bit today, but I kind of think I know what season 1 is going to be.
I got season 1 to me. I think it's obvious to me. Mm-hmm. You will get the last episode. Well, last episode, you will get the king will die in episode 8 or 9.
8 or 9, yeah.
Right, he'll die in like 9.
Okay. Before we continue, for anyone that might be completely ignorant to this material and not aware,
I'm not gonna go crazy with.
No, but I just want to I just want to get this out of the way so we can say whatever we want. Warning: if you want to be completely, you may want to watch this video later after the season airs.
Yeah. So I would say it ends. You'll see Sir Criston Cole do the next slice. You'll see that, and then you'll see Rhaenyra gather her troops. I think when we see her at the table, that's one of the last scenes right there because she's planning on what to do at that particular time because everything's going because that's where it ends. I think that's where it ends with her planning. The Dance of the Dragons begins season 2. Yeah. Let's just say it like that, right? So they get to that point and everything else. That's the way I see it.
I think it's set up perfect for that. Yeah, one of the last things we see.
When you look at that and the way I judge shows, I have to ask myself this: how many battles are in this story? And you have the 2 Tumbleton battles; those are the 2 big ones, right? And then you have the one with Sir Criston Cole, right? Then you have the March to Harrenhal, which is not a battle, but the March to Harrenhal. So right there is 4. They're only going to do 1 battle a season, right? So even if you go that way, if you took away those would be 3 because the March to Harrenhal is not a battle. That's 3 seasons right there after this. So that gets us to 4. Go ahead, Bridge.
Well, I don't know if in season 1, what battle do you foresee happening in season 1? At most, you're going to get like Arax, Vagar versus Arax.
You get the flashback, I think, of the battle of Corlys, Valyrian, and Daemon going over to the islands over there.
If they give us that kind of color to the backstory, that would be so gnarly. Daemon is he's probably my favorite, not my favorite person, but he's probably my favorite male Targaryen. Yeah, that would be cool. The Stepstones.
Yeah, I think you'll get that in this season. And so you'll have that 1 battle in it. You know what I mean? The Stepstones. I don't think it'll be a full episode. But, kind of like when they did the not as bad. They'll give us more than this. Remember when Robb Stark, every time he had the battle, and he said, draws the swords, the King of the North, and then he went to the battlefield and it was over. You'll get more than that, but it won't be much more. You know what I mean? It'll be a little more battle than that, but not much more than that. Just to flesh out his character, because you got to learn a lot about him. You know what I mean? So I think you'll get that. So,
Tony, we do have our first voicemail. Let me know when you're ready for it.
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna say, so those are 3. That's 4. No, there's another battle I'm not thinking of. What's the battles, Bridge? What's the name of these
Well,
battles?
it's I wouldn't necessarily say battles per se. It's like what huge moments in a show with dragons. It doesn't have to be a battle per se, because something like Aemon One Eye and Daemon, like
That's
that is a huge epic
yeah, that's
moment.
a battle too. That's one
Okay, that's a
season.
battle.
That ends the season.
Exactly.
That's a battle. That's a battle.
So that's what I mean. Like I haven't thought it out, but if let's say something like that might be like a season 3 or 4, but then you have like second Tumbleton could be 5. This could maybe even go to like 6. I have to, like I said, offline. I'm going to finally break it out, but
Yeah,
at
I'm
least
starting
4
to think
seasons.
6, 7 when it all sets. I mean, people say flat Tumbleton would be 1 and 2. I don't think so.
Tumbleton 1 and 2. That is far down the line.
Yeah, I don't think they can do them back to back. They got to do one and one after.
Oh, it can be in the same season. Sorry, I missed.
Yeah, in the same
I mean,
season.
we're going to get into this in the trailer, but I also think they're going to create a couple of events that aren't necessarily in the text that are big, intense moments, similar to the way they altered the Ned and Jaime engagement in season 1 of Game of Thrones, where they turned into a fight rather than just Ned falling off a horse. So I think they're going to set up a few events. We see one in the trailer specifically with the dragon egg and the face off with Hightower that might turn into big moments on the show that are just bullet points, again, to go to the bullet point thing in other space. So I think they're going to open a lot of space for that.
Yeah. So, actually, season 1 has a couple of big things. So first, we have, and I haven't looked specifically at like the banners and the sigils and whatnot, but if you're going to follow the books, again, we're allowed to talk about like what we think is going to be in season 1.
Yes.
Okay. So we have like,
that's why I gave the warning.
Yeah. So now that we know there's 2 timelines, right? There's at least a timeline that's like leading up to 10 years before, up to like 120, and then a timeline way before then, right? So it's like, and one scene that could be a pretty good scene is Kristen Cole. He actually fights. I think he's in both the melee and the joust against Daemon back in the day. That's sort of, and that's around the time that Rhaenyra is 7, or she's like 6 or 7. That's when she sort of like falls for Kristen Cole, because he beats Daemon, Uncle Daemon, who's badass, right? So that's one thing. And you also have potentially Kristen Cole with Breakbones. So that's another big event. A lot of season 1, I think, is going to revolve around tourneys, because they had a lot of tourneys at that time.
Yeah, and even in the last trailer that we got before us, the teaser, we've seen Kristen Cole in battle with Daemon, right? They showed that in there, so that would be in the first teaser trailer. Remember, you see Daemon blocking him with the shield. And
earlier when I mentioned not looking at sigils, was that Kristen Cole with the
because that's his weapon, right? His weapon is
what's it called? What's that? The Morning Star, is it?
It's the mace, right? Is it the mace?
Morning Star?
Morning Star, a mace or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, they showed that already. So I think that you will see that in season 1. I think you'll see a lot of backstory when it's all said and done. And we will take it as soon as Phil is ready to give us a first person.
Here we go. I was just sharing this out. Here we go. This is I think it's from Kiki.
Oh my God, was that Littlefinger? I got excited. Don't be doing that to me, gentlemen. You know Littlefinger is my boo. Anyway, this is the infamous Kiki. Yes, indeed. The one, the only, the infamous. My question is, do you, esteemed gentlemen, think that this show will have the chutzpah, the huevos to bring in more casual fans to the Game of Thrones family? Do you think this will be enough to bring in the people who didn't watch Game of Thrones, maybe, missed the whole sensation and now they want to catch on? Do you think it has enough star power? What do you think about the writing? I have casual fans who've never read the books and not into the lore and the internet, and they saw the trailer and they were just kind of like, all right, that looks okay, and they're like, where the dragons at? Like, so I just want to know, have you guys been hearing anything from casual fans? What do you think that this show is going to do rating wise? Is it going to bring more people into the fold? Because I'm a little iffy. I don't really know. I'm kind of skeptical. So anyway, I love you guys. I miss you guys. Bridge 4, you're my fake husband. Okay, bye.
Aw, Bridge 4, the fake husband. I think the most important thing moving forward for this show, and this is one of the things that I'll get into a little bit later, but I think the most important thing this show can do is try to make new fans. Obviously, the people that are diehard Song of Ice and Fire fans that are going to follow, and if the series is quality, they'll love it and support it. But going for mainstream audiences, I think the wrong move by HBO PR is to go to recapture the fans that's hearts are broken still because of the end of Game of Thrones. It's to try to make new fans. So I do think if they're smart, Kiki, they will appeal to new fans. They will try to make this show as user-friendly for people that have not necessarily a knowledge of it. My fear from a PR standpoint is that HBO is going to try so hard to have this as be the foundation point for the Game of Thrones universe that they're trying to build, that they're trying to bring everyone back that left instead of working on bringing in new fans, which I hope is what the series does. But it comes down to the quality. If they give us a great series, which everything so far looks like it's going to be, new fans will come to it. Cheers fans were pissed off about Frasier, but Frasier gained new fans. And then some of those fans came back later when they heard everything that was going on about it. Same with Better Call Saul to Breaking Bad. A lot of people that loved Breaking Bad didn't start with Better Call Saul. They were like, this is boring for me. I can't deal with this. And now they're coming back, or now it's considered one of the best shows of all time. So I think that's the model they should go after, personally.
Oh my God, we have another Bostonite is in the building, popping in to say hi. Someone else from that great state of
the Celtics.
What up to Yankees?
Great win by the Celtics last night.
All right, well, let's go through it. Bridge, what do you think about thank IEG, but what's going on from our sister podcast over there with the great gray area and Alicia and Nim over there? Check them out as always. Let's Bridge. What do you think? Will it be able to bring in new fans?
Yeah, I'll break it down to three factors, right? So, like a lot of people, I was having, this is anecdotal, but I'm on a forum called the MMAcommunity.com. One person, it's not a big community, but one person on there just watched all of Game of Thrones. So we do have a sect of people who didn't watch it while it was on, and now they've watched it. Now, in terms of like the show ending poorly, like in the debate in the forum, they were like, yeah, seasons 5, 6, 7. Like they brought into a whole narrative that 5, 6, and 7 and 8 all stunk. 5, 6, and 7 have Hard Home, Battle of the Bastards, the Field of Fire. It has the Sept of Baelor. It has so many great things. It's like 5, 6, and 7. If you look on Rotten Tomatoes, they're all 94 to 98%. They're universally beloved despite having bad stuff like the Sand Snakes. Yeah, season 8 was kind of hated. I think it's like 54 or something like that on Rotten Tomatoes. With that said, most people that hated season 8, they're going to be watching it. So the drop off between people that like hate it so much they're not going to watch it versus the new fans that have already watched the show after it ended, I think that levels out by itself. And the major factor that people aren't taking into account, just like with voting, right? It's kids. So this show went on for like 10 years. There are so many kids that grew, they were like 5, 6, 7, 8. Now they're old enough at this point to actually watch the show. This show, like season 1, the first episode of season 1, I think is going to be the most watched episode ever. I think this show is going to blow out the records because it's a huge phenomenon. Everyone is going to watch it, even if they hated season 8, and it's going to have an entirely new, huge base. Yeah, it's going to kill it. The show's going to be massive.
All right, so I look at it like this. Number one, if you're just going after book fans, then you already done a bad disservice here. It's not books fans that carry. The show is not going to be built for book fans. That's it. So book fans need to get over that shit. It's not for you. The show is for you, but it's not for you because you're a book. If you want the books, go read them. That's
yeah, exactly.
What they're for, right? This is for more than book fans. This is for the general public, a broader audience than the books hit. Much more people will watch the show than actually read the books. So they're not really care. Now, we have George R. R. Martin in it, and we have people, so they're going to be as true to the source material as can be. When dealing with comic books, you can be as true as you can be, but some of those costumes look silly in real life. They look great on paper, silly in real life. So there's certain things in the books that just won't work on the paper, so they're going to have to change shit up. You know what I mean? So that's that. So if they go after those fans, that's it. And another thing you got to remember is that Game of Thrones wasn't Game of Thrones until after the Red Wedding. Right, the first couple of seasons, no one really gave a fuck about it. I mean, and if you really look at it, and I go through and you check the channels that covered it, it was really just me and a couple other guys that covered, like History of Restaurants. They didn't cover the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones because they were book channel and they were just doing book stuff. And then eventually they came over there and stuff like that. I think I could be the oldest person on all of YouTube that covered the show still consistently to this day. You know what I mean? And I could tell you from them back in the days that it wasn't a lot of people going for these videos. It wasn't until after the Red Wedding it blew up, and then all these channels came out and started doing all these videos on the show because they said, "Oh, look at these views. We got to get these views," and that's when Emergency Awesome and all these people started covering it. But they didn't cover it in the beginning. That's the truth. You can go back and check it out. So, can it be that big? I think it has the potential, and it has a better story than the actual Song of Ice and Fire, and it's more complete. The story is a finish, is a beginning, middle, and end. We know the ending of it. So I think for that reason, right now, I think that you can say that it should be better, but it always comes down to, can these actors hold their weight, and are they believable? You know, and I think that we can go into a couple of pictures with that being said too, because there's a thin line, and I say it all the time, between cosplay and actually these costumes actually taking place, like making you believe you're in this
right
world.
Really feeling like they're organic people.
Yeah, like there are people wearing these costumes, and a couple of these costumes, I will say, me myself, I don't know if it's
they're a bit too costumey.
Yes, if it's working for me that much. All right, so this is a picture. What is this? This is from the funeral, correct?
It seems to be, yeah.
All right, I feel like, I think this is a decent picture, but nothing special.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah,
I don't know if this is out there public, because I only like to be positive, like even like reviews and stuff. If I don't like something personally, I won't review it, because people put their heart and souls into it. That's just me, though. I get that there's area for critiques. I think I went publicly stated in like one of the first trailers or teasers or promo photos that I was like, all right, so this girl's not as pretty as you would think for a Targaryen, but keep in mind that she's supposedly not as pretty after she gave birth to children. This girl is a looker. She's hot. She's actually really hot. I like her.
No,
So I take that back.
I think, in all honesty, I think that's the problem that Matt Smith gets, that people don't see him
as a sex symbol,
as a sexy guy, and they want all these Targaryens to look like Brad Pitt. And that's where they think, oh, he's got to be a Brad Pitt type guy who's going to play this role. He's got to be that sexy and that good of a fighter and everything else. And when you look at the history of fighters, not all of them are very good looking. It doesn't go hand in hand.
Not everyone's Jamie frickin' Lannister.
No, that's not the way it is. So, I do believe people say something about that. I believe in Matt Smith as an actor, 100%. I believe in him. I believe in Steve Toussaint as an actor. I know they're going to carry their weight in the thing, and Emma Darcy's going to carry her weight too. In the end, it's the other people that I'm not too familiar with. Can they actually hold it and everything else? You know what I mean? So we'll see if they do.
And not even just the acting. Are they able to establish themselves as iconic characters? I don't think Daemon's gonna have a problem. I think that anyone sleeping on Matt Smith is gonna be sorry. I think he's gonna be the most memorable thing guaranteed in this first season of the show, coming right off the bat. He's gonna be the guy you're talking about a lot of the times, and he's gonna be he's the biggest star on the show. And I think it's just, is everyone else going to be as iconic? Are people going to get lost in the blonde hair a little bit and not be able to identify and relate as much with individuality and focus on the characters? Some of those people that I've had people send me messages, I'm a Stark fan. Am I going to like this show? I'm a Baratheon fan. I'm a Lannister fan. Am I going to feel off-putted by overkill of Targaryens? So I think the important thing is creating really awesome characters, and so far from everything I can see, it seems like they're doing that. Like these seem like they're going to be good, iconic characters added to the universe.
All right, Mysaria, Daemon, the Dragon Egg Bridge. What's going on in this scene from your perspective?
All right, so Daemon's, well, I was gonna say he's the man. He's like, it's funny. I love him as a character. He is a dirtbag, right? But so I mean, it's like you'd want him on your side if you're going to war, but you don't want to be yeah, he is. But I don't know. I'm really into Mysaria. She's a hot chick. She's a really cool character too. So right here, he's got the dragon egg. Well, I didn't think too much about my trailer breakdown. Like when it came out, it's about, I just tried to turn it out real quick. And someone said, so there's a shot of a dragon inside the caves where Daemon's going into the caves, right? That's potentially that could be Dreamfire. Let's say it's hard to determine the color because the coloring of that cave shot. But potentially Dreamfire, maybe Vhagar. There aren't too many dragons having eggs around that time. But so he went in, he stole an egg to give to his girl Mysaria, and Viserys is like, "No, bro, you can't do that."
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is, right? So
Yeah.
he sent the Kingsguard after him, like, you're not fucking walking
Mhm.
around. I try people like, why wouldn't he let me? A dragon in this world is basically a nuclear bomb, right? It's a nuclear weapon. So it would be as if, hey, when your kid gets born, it gets born with a nuclear weapon. Hey, we're gonna give your kid a nuclear bomb. All right. This would be important. You get a nuke, he gets a nuke, he gets a nuke, everyone gets a nuke. Right? But that's basically what it is. So they say, hey, you're gonna get this nuclear bomb that you could jump on the back of and ride and blow away anybody. And she's like, no. Ain't no bastard going all to a different country to have this. We know what this dragon may come back and haunt us years later down the line. And I agree 100% that is what it. You got something to say about the?
Oh, I was just gonna say, in the first season, with what you just said in the relationship of the dragons with nuclear bombs, before we actually get into the dance, it's gonna feel very Targaryen Cold War-ish too, where everyone has the weapons. Who's gonna be the first one to pull the trigger to a certain extent? There's gonna be a lot of lead up, a lot of build up to that. I think you're going to feel a lot of unbelievably building tension in a way that was similar to the first season of Game of Thrones with the Starks and the Lannisters. Like that feeling like it's coming, and just that slow build. And I think part of that is what you said, with everyone having the dragons and having their finger on that button, essentially, to be able to at any time go nuclear. And this is a situation, again, a Targaryen Cold War in the first season before we get into the dance stuff in season 2 and onward. So I think the Cold War first season is going to be very fun to watch.
We're going to come back to this picture in a second. We got to full screen this because we got to get into this because who are you with? Let's you choose your side right now.
I'm with the Blacks, 100%. I'm with the Blacks until what?
I said we have to choose it now.
Yeah, well, I chose it years ago, man. I'm Team Rhaenyra all the way, except until I'm not, and then I'm Team no one. Except I'm on Team like Adam Hole and Dare on the Daring. I'm on Team Nettles, basically.
Who are you with? And people in the chat, put it out there who you with too.
I think Team Black as well. You know
what? I'm done with Team Black. I'm gonna go with
Daemon there.
Because everybody's black. Because everyone's on the black.
Because we went on that side, Bridge.
I'm done with it. And the bottom line, I think that you people, I'm with the greens on this one. All right, I'm rolling with the greenbacks.
You know the future.
All right, I'm going with the money here. You know what I mean? And I think, in all honesty, there's a case to be made that they're right. You know what I mean? I think that you can make the case. We just talked about it a little bit right now. We just talked about it. We said it. Daemon's a scumbag, right? This is a known fact. Is he really someone that has the right to be on the Iron Throne and rule a country? Would you want this motherfucker ruling your country?
You know
what I mean? This guy who sleeps in the whorehouses, this guy who's willing to give a dragon egg recklessly to a chick he's just smashing. You know what I mean? Would you want this guy to truly rule a country? Would he be? Look at King Robert. Look what happened there. Was that a good country? If Tywin Lannister wasn't there to rein King Robert in, and Robert wasn't interested in ruling, right? And Tywin wasn't there to hold down the weight, would that have been a successful country? And you got Daemon, who's really going to not have a Tywin because he's going to want to rule. He's going to want to call the shot.
Daemon's rule will be like Caligula. It would get a little creepy, but it might be kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's disgusting, and you gotta look at the question that she's saying. When you look at her, and when you look at Allison, and she's saying, she tells you, like, listen, your kids' life will be on the line every step of their life because they will have some sort of claim to the throne. Do you not think? Look, if Daemon takes the throne, we could give it away if we really wanted to, because this is a spoiler. But
yeah,
if Daemon took the throne, do you not think he would have killed her kids eventually? That he would have got those kids taken out? Honestly, right?
That's what he does.
Real quick tangent. But before you started this segment, what I was going to say is that one of the most intriguing things for me about the story is that there's Septon Eustace, like the account we don't know what actually happened. We got Septon Eustace, we've got Mushroom. So there's a lot of questions as to who killed this guy and who killed this guy. I kind of lean, even though I love Daemon, I kind of lean towards Daemon being the guy behind a lot of those killings. So to answer your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you thought that, and all you women in here, you got kids, Aura, I see your Team Black Aura the zebra. You got kids. What would you do if your kid's life was on the line? Would you just say, hey, the king said that they should be king? And just say, oh, you're going to say, listen, I got to protect my children. I got to do what I got to do. I got to do what I got to do. I got to make sure this guy don't get the throne because my kid's life could be on the line if that's the case. And
here's the thing, though.
When you look at that, I think when you look at it that way, you may have to come over to Team Green. Now, when I'm on Team Green, we will be accepting people to jump on board.
Welcome to the Celtics fan side.
You'll be able to come on. Don't worry about it. You'll be able to come on board a little later. It's like everyone came aboard on Team Stannis when I was the only one over there. Y'all be able to come aboard too and everything else. So we got time for you. Don't worry. We got time because the bottom line is, if it was my children and my children's life was on the line, I would do whatever I had to do to make sure that they survived. And that's the bottom line. And that means even if I had no choice but to go have a war with someone, we're going to get this done. And that's just the bottom line. That's the way I take it. So I'm rolling with the Greens on this one.
Now, Travis asked the question, will they show blood? They have to, right?
But I feel like that could be season 2.
But not in season 1. Just like, will we see it?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. No, you definitely get blood and cheese.
So real quick, going back to the beginning, when we're talking about, season 1 can have a lot of big scenes. If you count like the melees and stuff like that as big scenes, and beating up breakbones as big scenes. Because what do you think about the dagger? Allison with the dagger. Do you have a connection? Do you know what that's related to?
I think that in that scene, she's not trying to stab Rhaenyra. I think she's stabbed.
No.
I think it's because it's the eye put out scene.
Exactly.
And I think she's trying to go after him. And when she does go after him, Rhaenyra jumps in the way and prevents him from doing it.
Exactly. That even though it's not a battle, that, I mean, like little kids fight and like he cuts out or he slashes his face and his eyes out. But just an 11, I think he's 10 or 11-year-old kid going out like without anyone's, like he knew people wouldn't let him get anywhere near Vhagar, and he goes up to Vhagar and breaks Vhagar, like bends Vhagar to his will. A little 11-year-old kid like that. For me, as a nerd, as a total geek, like that is a classic epic scene. Bonding Vhagar. Oh, it's gonna be gnarly.
No, that'd be a great scene. Thank you for the super chat. I seen you, Kelly. I seen your super chat too. I'll get to those. I promise you. I wonder if they're going to start out happy or they're going to be some. No, you're gonna get the Rhaenyra Alicent love affair. Like they're all down with each other.
You'll see a lot of flashbacks of happy, but
you'll see smoke right away too. And everything else. But the bottom line is this: and I tell people, listen to what it is. You like Phil and Bridge, right? We're close in age, and y'all could be my friend, and we're good friends. But you start fucking my mama, we ain't friends no more, right? I mean, I'll be honest, man. I like you guys, but you can't fuck my moms. All right, you can't do it. You don't want to come in your house and see Tony Teflon laying in your bed with your mother. You don't see her bringing me French toast in the morning. Right?
You don't care if I bring her flowers every day. You know, whatever the friends.
You know, kind of ends the friendship there. Right?
I personally, I wouldn't mind it, but I'd be like, bro, what are you doing? Look at my mom, bro.
I think we would all treat each other's mothers very nicely, but. Oh my goodness, he is going to be, as Ara said, I can't wait for Aemond. He's going to be such a fun villain. I think we're going to see a lot of
villains. Is it going to be that black and white? Are they going to be villains, or are they going to be they all have a reason on what side?
I think Daemon's going to come off as a villain.
I don't. Yes and no, because we are going to see some of the bad stuff he does. But the thing is, like you were alluding to, Tone, how like everyone's on the blacks, right? So no one's on the greens. I think that they may tell the story that way because that's the way the story's told in the books. It's like everyone's on the blacks at first, and then it's like, what the hell? They all suck. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to lead us that path where we're all on Team Rhaenyra.
She was supposed to be on the throne. The throne wouldn't have stabbed her ass, right? They stabbed her ass for a reason, right? So I'm just saying, there's a reason why the throne stabbed her ass, right? That it didn't stab a lot of other people, but it stabbed her ass. If that was the way it was for the will of the gods, that would have been what I would have seen right there. All right, we'll go back to another picture. We'll bring another picture up in here. I know people want to see these pictures and stuff. We'll keep on.
Can I do a real quick shout out to Reflective Rambling? Said, I don't know where the message is, but basically said, screw them all. I'm on Team Rhaenys, the queen who never was, and I'm down with that. She's awesome.
She definitely deserved to be queen. She got fucked out of the whole situation. All right, this is a controversial scene. Who's on the back of this dragon? Who are we going with on the back of this dragon?
Daemon.
7-year-old Rhaenyra. The dragon's too small to be. Aemon, you said? Dragon's way too small to be Vhagar. It's got to be
red, right? I mean, Daemon's. It's
Daemon, you said?
I said it's Daemon. I think that's
too small to be correct.
Daemon's dragon's got to be fire fucking red. If they're gonna really go with it, and it's known as the fucking blood worm, I expect this dragon to be red as fuck. And this dragon that we're looking at, not just the scales. Yeah. I'm saying bright fucking red. Like there's no mistaking this dragon every time you see it. You know. So here's
the thing. Go ahead. Here's the thing about the dragons. If you look at the early seasons, like after Dragon's Hatch, seasons 2 and 3, those young dragons, they were like Viserion was yellow, cream, Rhaegal was green, and Drogon was black, right? But then as the dragons aged, they sort of cheaped out in the coloring. And for a while there, like if you look at like when they busted out of the dragon pit and they're all flying together, they all look the same, like greenish brown from the top. Like the scales all look the same. Then if you go to like season 7, when Rhaegal's next to Drogon, especially if you turn up the saturation, Rhaegal is green and Drogon's black, but it's not very distinctive, right? But in a story like House of the Dragon, where you have so many dragons, to be able to distinguish them, they've got to go with the colors. So yeah, I'm with you.
They specifically said that each dragon will have its own attitude, and like you'll be able to tell the attitudes of each dragon and all that. Now listen, I don't want to see a dragon up here cracking fucking jokes. I don't want to see a dragon up here farting and shit.
All right, I don't comedy dragon and shit like that.
Yeah. Real quick, let me say thank you so much, Fernandez T. Very generous super chat. Please don't lay on top of my mama. I will not after that. After your super chat, I will not. I promise you.
Oh, thank you for
thank you for that, my brother. But let me say this. I don't want to see no fucking slut dragons in this motherfucker at all. Like if we get slut dragons, what's the slut dragons motto? We fuck, we suck, and we lick butt. That's what they say. The slut dragon.
Where is this? I've never heard of the slut dragon.
I've never heard the slut dragon.
Have you never heard of the slut dragon?
No.
Yeah, these dragons are sluts. They're sluts. These dragons, and they live in this world. They're put down in the dirt because they're sluts, and that's the motto. I'm like, hey, we're slut dragons. We fuck, slut, and we lick butt. And that's
where's this coming from?
Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay. I've never seen it.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
It's Rick and Morty.
Dude, 2D cartoon.
But I'm saying in general, give me an attitude like I can tell, but don't make it over the fucking top. I don't want to see like Smog up in there. So dragons sound like fucking Sean Connery and shit. You know what I mean? I don't want to see no shit like that or anything like that. You know, I just this do it right.
What's your favorite dragon? What's your favorite dragon in the dance?
I'm my favorite dragon in the dance. Sheep Stealer.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
Sheep Stealer. And I think that could be a problem too. You know what I mean?
Now, Bridge, you mentioned something in your review about the size of the dragons.
Okay.
And in the concerns, do you have any and I know you said you don't. It won't take too much away from you, but you did mention in something about the review about the size of the dragons.
Okay, so real quick, like I said, I churned that video out as fast as I could. So you have 2 scenes with the dragon. One with not Matt Daemon. What's the guy's name?
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith down there with the dragon. So I foolishly just assumed that was Caraxes and that they weren't going with too distinctive a red color. I didn't connect that scene to the dragon egg. That's presumably Dreamfire, that he's stealing a dragon, or it could be any dragon just in a scene where he's stealing a dragon egg, right? Mm-hmm. Now, and in terms of this dragon, again, I don't know if it's just the way like I screen capped the trailer. I couldn't make out the person. I can't tell if it's a guy or a girl. I just saw white hair.
You just see the hair. You can't.
And in terms of the size, I was like, if my initial take was like, I'm just dumb, right? So I'm like, Matt Smith and a dragon here, and then there's another dragon here. It's probably the same dragon, the same person. That's just a dumb take. So I'd assumed that it was him and Caraxes, and I got upset about that because that dragon is way too small to be Caraxes. Most likely that's going to be Rhaenyra on Cyrax at 7 years old.
I think that they haven't really showed a lot of men on dragon back
No,
yet.
not
So
yet.
I think they're gonna, keep going with the Daenerys theme. You know what I mean? Of it, and I think that's why it's going to be this is the scene of where everyone bends. Where all these people supposedly are supposed to, swear their allegiance to his daughter. What do you think about this? I think this is a great Iron Throne room. I think the Iron Throne, I think right here is just amazing.
Yeah, I like this design way better than the Game of Thrones. Do you think this is early on? Do you think this is like episode 1?
Yes, I do. I do think it's episode
I
1.
think so too.
I think it's and again, when you look at what George R. R. Martin wrote in the books, and I said this earlier, that the throne is supposed to be 10 feet tall, it just wouldn't look good on camera.
Like 50 feet tall, 100 feet.
You know what I mean? In the books, it sounds amazing, and you can see that in the books. But I'm saying on screen itself, that's just not gonna work. You know what I mean? That's just not gonna work. So, well, Bridge, what do you think about the Iron Throne and this scene right here?
To be honest, this is the first time I'm actually looking at it. I know I did like a breakdown. So when you break down stories, you have you can break it down to like 8 different pieces, but for me, it's like you've got world, character, and conflict being the plot, right? For me, it's always like books like I'm most into character. It's the stories and the character arcs that they go through. The world and stuff, it's cool. Like I love like reading about like cliffs and like the Vale and stuff. So something like this, yeah, it's like it's badass, but I guess I just like I expect that out of Game of Thrones. Like this isn't like jumping off the screen like, oh my god, but it's like it's top quality, no doubt, but it's what I expect. This show's gonna be so freaking badass.
I think so. I'm hoping that it is. I'm hoping it is. What up to Lady Anna in the building, rocking with us right now. Corlys Valerian. All right, let's go. My man Steve Toussaint right here rocking. And you know what? And I'm gonna say this, and I know there's a lot of people, whatever, y'all don't like the fact that he's black. I don't care what you like. I really don't care. What up to the ladies, man? Sir LT Giles in the building, rocking.
Oh, LT, good to see LT.
One of the original people from back in the day, baby, rocking with us right there. The ladies, man. All right, I don't really care what y'all like or whatever. I said this and I'll say it again. This is not for you book fans. This is not. If you want him to be whatever color you want him to be, just keep reading the books and keep closing your eyes, and it'll be whatever you want him to be. He is the way he's supposed to be. And the number one thing I like about the casting about this man is that this is a dark-skinned black man with African features. Usually when they cast black people, and I'm a light-skinned black guy, and I'm saying this, but usually when they cast, but I have black features, but usually all of them. But usually when they cast these black men, they cast them with white European features. Small noses, pointy noses, small lips, and everything, like the guy from Bridgerton, and everyone goes all crazy about him and all that stuff and everything else. This right here is a black man who looks like a black man. And that is what I'm most happy that they casted him like this. What do you think about Corlys? Any one of you two.
The design of the character is awesome. I love it. I'm very excited. I can see why they want to base a series around it. It's a captivating character. Even him just walking in the trailer and all the history surrounding him, and he's going to be doing a lot of really fun stuff throughout this entire series. So he is definitely one of just the characters I'm most excited for. And like they teach you in drama school, it's who plays the best fucking character. I don't care if you're a three. Like playing, the example I always heard is in like Death of Salesman with you wouldn't see Dustin Hoffman think he could play that character. Like it doesn't matter. It's can the actor do it? And this guy is going to do it. Like you already know, he's just going to do an amazing performance in this.
Done deal. Gary, I'm telling you, it's a done deal with this dude. Bridge, what do you think about this? Corlys.
Yeah, man. I don't know like actors and actresses. Like I've seen maybe one, the Matt Smith guy. I've never even seen him in anything. I've seen the girl, Alicent. But when she was first casted, I thought she was going to be like the young Alicent. I guess time flies because I had seen her in some robot movie, the one with the gamer thing. But so in terms of like him, I don't know him as an actor, but in terms of like skin color and stuff, like that stuff means nothing to me. Like in Witcher, they casted people that were black that weren't black in the books technically. Like that does nothing. I don't care at all. I have like a trigger figure. So back in the day, I used to get like a lot of views, especially during seasons. I would get so triggered. Like if you wrote like season 8 sucks, I'm like, I'd read 500 of those comments that day. I'm like, you're blocked. You're blocked. You're blocked. I'm blocking my own friends. So I plan on blocking thousands of people that are racist over the course of the show.
And talking about Wheel of Time, they did a casting of Wheel of Time, and people lost their mind about the Wheel of Time. And you used to do a video about that too. But that is what it's. But yeah, I that is particular. I can't wait for the role. You know, as a black man, I'm truly happy to have, or person of color, whatever you want to consider me. You know what I mean? I'm truly happy to really have, like, you know, like if I cosplay before, though I wouldn't, but if I did, didn't feel correct doing it. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't feel like wearing Jon Snow armor and like that. Now I have someone, you know, I have someone that I could actually cosplay as. You know, when Nettles comes out there and they show her and she has costumes, there'll be people they can cosplay. When Asian people see Mysaria, they have someone that they can actually cosplay and look like without having to put crazy stuff on. You know what I mean? And that's why it's important for everyone to have these people in the show. That's the difference between the show and the book. In the book, everything looks the way you want to look. The castle looks the way you want to look at, and your imagination it's always better than what they could put on the screen to you, right? So there's always going to be something like that. So I'm happy that they're doing that. Please call in the call-in line 781-990-8509, especially if you have like a nice Australian accent. We would like to hear from you.
Carla Way. Yo, so did you see so Lena Valerian is known as like a really beautiful girl, and we've only seen a little bit of her, but the actress looks like a total bombshell. So I'm excited for more Lena Valerian.
No doubt about it. All right, so when we look at these, we want everyone to call. I'm just playing. She know I'm teasing her, but you know, but when we look at these people right here, so from what I'm thinking, this is when she's so young that this isn't. This is Rick. What is it? They called him Rickard. Sir?
It was Rickard.
Yeah. Rickard Stark.
Was it Rickard or Rickon? So it's hard. It's hard to.
It was
Rickard.
I'm trying to think what I heard.
It was like some type of Rickard.
He's not important unless they change the story. He's not actually that important.
No, but is it the Stark that we're going to see later's father?
I believe that's the case. I don't know if that's the case in the canon, but I'll check.
People that we're seeing, because it's so young when she's young, these are the fathers, and when she grows up, then we deal with the Starks.
Now, Tony, you're treading on the main difference if people are going into the series just from a television standpoint. This is going to be a series, unlike the Game of Thrones Prime series that only did a few. I mean, when you get into brand flashbacks, it's a different story altogether. But you're going to see a lot of flashbacks in this series, seeing things in the past and messing with the time periods a lot more than the Prime Game of Thrones series. So I think you're going to see them as kids. You're going to see two different age groups of some of these characters. I don't know if you're going to see that throughout, or you're going to start off as one and then switch to the other. I think that they're probably going to bounce back throughout at times. So that's definitely a different story device from a television standpoint between this and the other Game of Thrones. I think you're going to see more flashback type stuff for a lot of it, actually.
All right, so Kelly Johnson says, T, do you think the Valyrians have Summer Island and distress history? You know, in all honesty, I understand why you asked the question, and they could go that route with it. It's different ways, or you could just say there was black people in old Valyria, and that's it. You know, it's really that simple. You could do it that way. If you're talking about a race of people who enslave people, dragon riders who enslave people, it's not hard to think that they grabbed up some black slaves. And I haven't known a slave master who hasn't slept with one of their slaves in any one of these series that you go through. That always happens. So you're going to have offsprings, and that's just what it is. You know, go ask the Jeffersons. And I'm not talking about George and Wheezy.
So it is, you're right. It is Rickon Stark. And he is the canon father of Cregan Stark.
All right, so yeah, so that's what they're doing right now. That's the way they're gonna run it. They're gonna show you the fathers and the father. So does the sons have to hold what the fathers bent the knee to? Because these aren't the people that's going to affect our story. So we'll ask that question real quick before we go into more pictures. Do you think that they're obligated to hold what their father bent the knee to. If your father ain't in control no more, he said, I'm gonna support this. I didn't say that. Should I be held to what my father said?
It comes down to the individual, and that is partially a factor of the culture of the house. So someone like the Starks, yeah, they're going to honor that because it's my family's word is bond, that type of thing. Versus someone in the South, they're trying to play that Game of Thrones. So it's like my father said this, but I hated my father, that kind of thing. In terms of Storm's End, I'd have to double check the family trees. I believe that they have not only did they promise, I think there are some alliances through family members, and thus that's why the Storm's End is going to probably side with Rhaenyra for that case or for that reason.
Yeah, it's difficult because, well, the whole foundation, spoiler alert, I guess, of the conclusion of The Godfather is going against that. You're not held to what your father does, and that's how Michael can do what he does because his father made the arrangement with the rest of the families. I will not seek revenge, so he comes back. But I guess in some ways you could argue that if family, it depends what the bond is. If my family will support yours in perpetuity, or is it I will support you in perpetuity? It's a subtle difference, but it does make a difference. So is it on you to honor what your family does, or is it on you to stay to your own things? I think Bridge is right. It depends on the family's perspective. Some families are more about individuality. If you're a Lannister, you do what's best for the individual Lannister. If you're a Stark, you honor what's good for Starks for centuries and centuries and centuries. There's ways of holding to it. So it's a hard question, Tony. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say no. I mean, no. If my father told it goes back to if my father told you this, if it ain't in the will, then it ain't legal. And that's just the bottom line. So no, if my father told you he was gonna do this for you and he ain't there, doesn't mean I gotta do it.
Yeah, Michael
I don't gotta do it. I mean, I may do it, but it doesn't mean I have to do it. It's all up to me. I don't like it because my dad liked you, don't mean I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My dad may like you, because you may have did something for him. You ain't do that same shit for me. So I don't like it. So I gotta say, nah, I got the roll. All this honorable Stark shit is bullshit. Not all those motherfuckers was honorable. Brandon wasn't honorable. What the fuck? How much honor did Brandon have? He slept with anybody's wife, anyone he can get his dick into, he was doing everything.
Yeah, if they liked it, then they might consider that honorable.
Yeah, but he was the one
who honored them every night.
Yeah, a lot of them wanted to taste his sword.
He dishonored Ashara Dane. That's what the words were, right? That's what Sir Barristan said. So I'm going with Barristan. That
I think Barristan's just a beta.
I
don't believe anything.
Didn't Barristan take an oath of celibacy? That guy's bitter.
Well, we got another bitter night in this show too. So maybe it just goes around with the King's Guard.
Yeah, that's just part of it.
All right, this is probably the best shot we've got of the King to me that we get and everything. We get a really good shot of Blackfire. Now, I've heard people complain, say, "Oh, this is supposed to be the greatest sword in the history of swords, Blackfire," and it's so simple, so plain. How do you feel about that? Do you think they should have made that sword more ornate, or do you like it just the way it is? I'm not even sharing the screen. What am I doing? Sorry. Here we go.
I didn't even look at it until that. Like, to me, it's a freaking sword. I get it. It's a badass sword. Personally, I think the Blackfire is Longclaw. I think that they're both. It's just they're both bastard swords, right? But so I guess it's cool. But I don't know. To me, it's the character. All about the character. So yeah, Blackfire looks cool. sorry. I'm a geek, but this is not my thing. You know what it is? I'm more into spears because spears are just such a better weapon than swords anyway.
Yeah, you got the reach. You can just break it down. Or if
you ever watch these kids, watch kids in the gym, it'll be like one guy with like a plastic spear, like a rubber spear, and he's taking out like 3 guys with swords. They can't do anything.
We got a super chat, a super sticker from Reflective Rambling. Thank you so much. So generous of you. I truly appreciate it. We all appreciate it. What do you think, Phil? Do you think the sword should have been a little more ornate, or do you think it's just better just being simple?
I mean, they've never done really a great deal of detail work on the swords throughout the series, so it kind of fits in with. When we see Dawn finally, what is it? Just hanging on the back of his. It's nothing special. I like the blade of this. I'll hold out judgment for that till I can get a closer look on how the hilt of it looks and all of that. I'm slightly more into swordology or whatever you want to call it than Bridge, but I'm similar in the sense of like with this character and its focus, but I think I like the blade. I'm not sure about the rest of it. I like the way the blade looks, though.
All right, so flashing lights, you're correct. I would say Dawn was a disappointment.
Yeah, it
And
was.
I'll say what made it a disappointment was that the sword wasn't white. I think if you had just spray painted that sword milky white, it would have been fine. Just the way it was, because that's not supposed to be regular steel. It's made out of of a meteorite, so it's supposed to be white. That's the whole thing. If they would have made that sword white, I think it would have worked. That's what it. So
I
this
agree.
sword, I think it looks like Aragon's sword to me. It looks like the Lord of the Rings sword. It's basic. It's the same thing with that sword, the Sword of the King. It's a basic sword. I have it right here. I can pull it out for you and show you.
Mhm.
It's a really simple sword. But so I think I like the fact that it's simple and it's not too decorated.
Yeah.
And so
More real.
You know what it is?
Go ahead.
It's just the size of the sword. Like Bastard Sword, it's very functional for certain purposes, right? But if you're in like small quarters, it doesn't work. If you're in a shield wall, it doesn't work. Like I'll quickly say, if anyone hasn't watched Last Kingdom, Uhtred, son of Uhtred, his sword, serpent breath. Like that's my type of sword. It's thick. It's a good sword, but it's small. You can use it in a lot of like small situations. I like that sword better.
Yeah, and that's what when you had the Roman Empire, like they had the rapiers, right? They used
Exactly.
those smaller swords. They were
Well-
more compact. They were better on the shield war.
Faster, you could poke.
They were able to get in there, stab between hitch in the ankles, whatever. Close quarters, they could use it. It was a more efficient sword than these long, drawn out swords and everything else. I don't know. Go ahead.
I just want to quickly defend my boy Uhtred, but his isn't like a rapier in the sense that it's skinny like a Bravosi sword. It's thick, just like this bastard blade, like a Blackfire, but it's just shorter. Yeah, so you could use it in more close situations.
All right, we have a young Rhaenyra in this picture, and who pointed out, but I could see it now, that around her neck is they have the sigils of every major house.
Oh yeah,
going around her neck. Yeah, in the first one you can see is Targaryen, and then if you look at every circle here, it's a different sigil for every house going around her neck there.
So like Heidi Kostovko, she would love this. Like look at the little sigils. I'm like, I don't know. It's a freaking shirt, man.
Like, is the character good? Does it make sense? Is there
Exactly.
dramatic moments?
Like, I want to know what's going through her head in this moment. No offense, yeah.
I'm with
But
you,
but
man.
with that said, that's a great catch, Tone. Like it does look pretty badass.
I mean, you gotta think that she's got to feel like on top of the world right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm about to be a woman who's going to run this damn country. I'm going to run this shit, and everyone's here bending.
It's going to be a tough road. That's going to be a tough road. I feel.
Yeah,
especially if like imagine that this scene happens like right after she takes her first dragon ride or something like that. So it's like she is literally feeling on top of the world.
Oh yeah, your last. Let's get this person right here. Phil, your last great night. That's the first time catching your live stream. Glad I'm able to join us. So thank you for having right here. Carl Snark, listen, says you a punk, Tony. Oh, Carl Snark. You could pay to call me a punk anytime you want.
Carl Karsnark went all out. I'm pretty sure that's the Karstark sigil. That's cool.
And all that. Oh, he said he didn't send it. Is that? I don't know. We're gonna say that you did say it.
I didn't send that.
I didn't send
that. Anyway, you can pay to send that anytime you want. But no, I like Kakashi. In fact, I liked all the scenes with the younger Rhaenyra.
Mm-hmm.
I liked all the scenes with her and stuff. And it just makes it sad. You know what I mean? When you see her like that. You say, no, he really didn't send that. Are you serious?
I have a question.
All right. Yeah. He'll hold it down. Let me see if this is a imposter.
What do you mean? So there's a scene where it's actually from the prior like teaser or whatever, where there's two women looking down at a joust, right? Who are those two women? Is it it's Alicent on the right, I think, and maybe Rhaenyra on the left or something like that. Well, so what I'm really getting at is that one of them's wearing red and one's wearing green. So I'm wondering, because of like the whole race issues with the Valerians actually being black, are they going to make it like the reds and the greens as opposed to, like what's the show going to do? Are they going to call it the blacks and the greens, or are they going to call it the reds and the greens and use like, instead of going with black clothing, go with red clothing, that kind of thing? Let's say, because right here she's wearing black with a little bit of red underneath.
Yeah, a little bit of the red. It is a good design, but I'm with you on that, Bridge, in the sense I appreciate costume, I appreciate design, I appreciate all those things. You can tell, but more for me, it's about
what's
the
today's
character.
date?
Today is February 22nd.
May 10th.
What?
I don't know.
It's May 10th. So
February 22nd.
I like February. It's a cool month.
it is a good month.
Let me see what's going on.
He's gonna log out for a moment. Is someone impersonating Carl Snark?
Yeah, it is.
He did, because he also said another inappropriate comment earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something at Jess that didn't necessarily sound like Carl. So
yeah, it's not, because like I'm going to.
So perhaps some hijinks are afoot at the moment.
Actually, let me say this. Typing it. Kelly Johnson wrote Gladius. Yeah, that's the type of sword I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I guess Game of Thrones is my favorite show ever, but I could make the argument that Spartacus is my favorite show ever. Granted, I'm from a town called Sparta, but yeah, those kind of swords, pretty awesome.
Oh, is that what he said? N-word lovers? What he said?
Yes, that's what he said.
You see, this is what happens. Why do I have to deal with this stuff?
Yeah, where's like Jackie C? What are you doing? When I'm in the chat, I'm blocking because I like blocking.
No, I'm not saying you're blocking. I'm just saying in general. It's really disappointing that
it is. That's a good point.
Like, come honestly, out here and just to talk about God, just to come out here.
Yeah, we're freaking talking about Game of Thrones here. Come on, give it a break.
And this is what I have to deal with. I don't see other people. This just makes me upset, and this is what makes me have to not want to choke people, knock people out. And I don't even like to get to that point and stuff like that, but this is what it is, you know what I mean? But no, it definitely was someone else. Like, I checked the 2 channels and I seen I hit his comments. He won't be able to comment again. So.
Yeah, let me just quickly say, like, honestly, if you write something like that, you're such a sad little person. Like, what is going through your mind? I really feel bad for you.
I don't know. It is what it is. All right, look, I'm not gonna let it ruin my day. All right, so right here we look at the back, the hairstyle in the back.
Look at her hair.
I like the hair. I
know.
I do.
It's great. It's great, but I know Heidi would be like, "Oh my God, look at the work that they did on their hair," and I'd be like, "Heidi, I just love hearing you speak." I don't know.
Look at the pinwheel design. Look at the pinwheel design. It means
and the starburst on the back. You know what I mean, and everything. No, you know. I think that the hair design looks amazing.
It's coiled up like a dragon.
Exactly, it's coiled up like a dragon tail.
I like it. I like this whole scene.
No, it is cool. It's pretty badass. Like, shout out to everyone who, because honestly, even though I say like that I'm more into character in terms of story, that's for books. And books, like, I don't, even when someone's described as being like redhead with blue eyes, I don't picture that. Like someone like Nynaeve in Wheel of Time, I don't have a visualization of who Nynaeve is. I just visualize temper. You know what I mean? Someone like Daemon Targaryen, I just picture like anger, sword, like badassery. So like how people look. And when you take it to a new medium, though, it is important for us to not be taken out of the scene. So all their costumes and stuff, like, I'm making fun of them, but they do such a tremendous job in the show. Really, hats off to all of them. It's great.
And look at the Daemon, just butthurt, boy. He's just so upset. And,
why do you think he's butthurt? What happened in this clip?
It's hard to tell, because you would think that this would be when she becomes his dad bends the knee to her, and he's mad about it. Because now he's not, but his hair's a little bit long here. I'm thinking that the flashback scenes, he would have short hair in, and then they would have the long hair when he gets older. That's kind of how they try to differentiate his age and stuff like that with just his hair.
He also just looks like he's about to maybe take a conquest too. You know, it could be a weird where he's just like, I'm gonna do something creepy right now. He's got that kind of creepy look on his face.
I'm excited. So many people have spoken so highly of him as an actor. I'm excited to see him play one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He really
is a tremendous actor. I mean, he'll do it justice without a shadow of a doubt. All right. Next picture, here we are with him with the gold cloak.
It's a good shot.
You know, and I like you could see the difference between his gold cloak and all the other gold cloaks.
His has a little design in it, you think?
Yeah, he has a little design. So we're gonna have Bridge go
Spider-Man
give
thing.
the history of the gold cloaks right now, in case people don't know. I mean, I could do it, but I know Bridge could do it better. So, Bridge guy, give the history.
So basically, he worked a couple different positions. I'm just saying this off the top of my head. He worked something like master of coin, and then like master of information or war, or something like that. He gets tired of like sitting in these, in the council rooms. Like that's not where he needs to be. So he ends up going out and he becomes a leader of the well, it's a city watch at that time, and he turns them in. They later become known as the Gold Cloaks because he gives them like new weapons, new armory. But then it's not just that he gives them the Gold Cloaks and they become known as the Gold Cloaks. I think he has like he rules with an iron fist. So I think we actually saw some of those shots in the teaser where like they're messing people up. Like if you steal something, you're gonna lose a hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what did he militarize the police? Would you say like he basically made them into an army and just said, "Fuck it, we're gonna start taking heads here," and that's it. And for any little thing that you do, you're gonna pay the ultimate price and scare people to the point that they don't want to commit a crime anymore. I think that was his whole thing, So it just shows you what type of leader he would be, and I can understand why people wouldn't want him to be on the Iron Throne. Because for any little thing, you're gonna get executed, and and that's just how he. And you gotta understand that if Rhaenyra takes a throne and he's married, it's not Rhaenyra on the throne; it's him on the throne.
Yeah,
and her standing shotgun.
You can
Yes
love
and
your.
no, I mean she's a pretty strong woman.
You can love your brother.
I think we have to wait to see how their dynamic plays out, because even though he is a total badass, and you make a good point, like you might be absolutely right, and that's the way it's painted. Like people like Otto Hightower, like they're afraid, like imagine him on the throne. But at the same time, this is a guy who falls in love with the girl who has no power. He falls in love with Nettles, so it's like if he actually loved, we don't know, if he actually loves Rhaenyra, maybe they would have been a great pair together to rule the throne.
Maybe, but I mean, you feel like I would know my brother more than anybody else. And when your brother doesn't want you to rule because he's like, you're a good guy, I like you on my side, you're the guy I want on my side, but I don't want you, the dude in charge. And I think he's one of those guys. I think he's not, as Bridge was saying when I mentioned him as maybe a villain, he's not a true villain. He has some good qualities about him, but when it comes to being the person that's sitting there making the decisions, he's not the right temperament for it, and it would have gone to his head, and it probably would have been too much for him, and his brother knew that more than anybody, so it was a difficult situation. He's capable, but I don't think he would have been a good king.
To play devil's advocate, his brother is the kind of guy that gets walked over because he's just too nice. You know what I mean? True. And granted, the people who they are changes. And I would, since I'm such like Nettles is literally my number one woman in the entire story, so I'd like to give her some credit as to who Daemon becomes. But at the same time, if we go far into his character arc, he makes a very selfless decision. So it's like that's the kind of leader I would want. Well, no, actually, I don't like bending the knee to anyone. But at the same time, like
you want Daemon in charge of you?
No, I would never bend the knee to anyone. But I'm saying he made a selfless decision for Rhaenyra. So it's like, is he really trying to rule the realm, or was he trying to help her out? I don't know. Only time will tell. We'll see.
It's gonna be fun to see. It's gonna be fun to see.
It's him trying to rule the realm. He don't give a fuck about her.
So wait, real quick though. There's I guess off the top of my head, there's probably two takeaways. The first takeaway, short term, is that we see him ruling with an iron fist with the Gold Cloaks. But then the second takeaway is that he does rule with an iron fist. So maybe like the populace, they're scared of him. The Gold Cloaks loved him, and that will end up playing a factor later on down the story, because he leaves, and when he comes back, even though they're with someone, they're technically working for someone else, they're still under him. You know what I mean? He's still got them under his wing.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Thank you, Sue, for his super chat. La Priest Mayo says, Rip Kevin Samuels. He loved Game of Thrones. Keep doing your thing, Tony and crew. Don't worry about the N word BS. I can't wait for this to come out. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm definitely trying to be. And the other person just, Britt, you were trying, this guy who was trying to come back saying, remember me from 06, I'm back. It's the same person who was back. Now he's paying to do it. So keep paying to do it. It's Android. Now he came back as Android 18.
Oh, he super chatted a comment?
Yeah, he's super chatting to. It's the only way he's going to get it through. He's super chatting them to say and stuff. But it's the same guy back in the day who would take people's identity and then just put stupid racist stuff up in the chat every time we do it and stuff. And
it's so weird. You've got to be messed up to do that.
From season 6 Game of Thrones, that eventually this person would have got some ass. that he would hate.
We have a
haven't got nothing from then. You still got nothing to do. Like you have to pay me to try to insult me.
Yeah. Tony, we have a message from that person. Let's listen.
Nice.
Listening to talkers makes me thirsty. I'm gonna have to eat every fucking chicken in this room.
Okay, sorry. I just
and I will say, rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. It's tragic that he died and everything. And I'll look at it and say, you know, and tell people that, you know, value every second of every day that you get. You know, don't waste your time doing stupid stuff, trying to, you know, draw attention to yourself because you have to put racist stuff in there because you can't draw attention on your own. You know, and that's the only way you can make people pay attention to you. This shows you how pathetic that you truly are and stuff like that. So you know what I mean. But no, go right. Live every. I think that's what Kevin Samuels would tell you if he was here. He would say, you know, enjoy every second of every day because you never know when your last day is coming, and no matter who you are, and that's just what it is, and that's what we're gonna try to be, and that's what we're gonna try to do, and that's what it's all about, and everything. Yeah. So. Going back on this show and everything else of what's going on here and stuff, we have the next big picture here, and I like this whole scene, and this tells you exactly what the show is about right here. And this is the Queen Who Never Was talking to young Rhaenyra, saying straight up exactly what's going on here and everything else. You know what I mean? So. I think that it's just people don't know her backstory. Rhaenyra's the Queen Who Never Was. Names are so close. It's hard. Rhaenys.
Yeah, Rhaenys. Yeah,
it's hard to get. But her father was the Prince of Dragonstone. He passed away. So King Jaehaerys had a choice between her and his brother, and then he chose his brother over her.
And then his brother, and then she had at that time she was pregnant, I think, and then after that, her uncle died, so he passed her over twice.
Mm-hmm.
Poor girl. And at that time, the second time, she had a son. She had Laenor,
and that was the Great Council, right? The second time,
exactly 101 AC.
The second time was a great council. So that's why, you know, she got twice. She got this. It just shows you that how much they feel about women in control of stuff,
and that's ultimately what. Oh, sorry.
There's actually like a third time. I think take this with a major grain of salt. So she had children. She had Laena and then Laenor. Now, when Viserys, his wife died, it was Emma or something like whatever. Aaron. So he was looking to like remarry. Potentially, he could remarry. Take this with a major grain of salt because I haven't read this in like a year or two. But I think he could have married Laena Velaryon, her daughter. And then instead he chose Alicent. So it's kind of like she got passed over 3 times.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing through this scene is her basically expressing that there's no way you're going to become queen. There's no freaking way, and they say it in the trailer too, and you can just see it all over her face. Like you think you're going to get what you think you're going to get, but it's not happening. It's not happening, and it's kind of just I've seen this story before. And I think that's going to be a fun dynamic between these two characters, where she's just going to have that perspective of, yeah, I've seen this story before. I know how it ends, and it's not going to end good for you.
But I mean, this really is why the dance happened. So she's been passed over twice. Let's say 2.5 times, 3 times, right? And then Viserys wants to make amends with her, and so he actually marries his daughter to her child, her son. And that's why she's like so hell-bent on making sure that her son and her daughter-in-law become king and queen.
As she should be, you know what I mean? You know, because she's seen it firsthand exactly how it goes down, you know what I mean? And it's just it's one form of Westeros that you just don't like, you know what I mean, about it and stuff like that. That the way they treat women back then. Yep. And when I was, you know, Bridge watched The Gilded Age too. And I was watching that. It's not different from that. Like a woman's worth in the Gilded Age is just to marry. Like they can't get a job. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to make their own money unless you're a maid or anything else. But if you're not married, or you're not born into a rich family, you really don't have a lot of options back, you know, to do anything in your life and stuff, you know. And that's just what it is and everything else when it's going down. So it's just amazing how this woman got passed over twice.
Twice.
You know what I mean? And she should have at least been the queen once.
Yeah, I just want to quickly say I misspoke because
The queen that never was.
What's beautiful is that like by the time this is spoiler, right? Spoilers, we can say spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time she's fighting for Rhaenyra, her son's dead. So it's cool that like at one time like she was sort of against Viserys, but then she had a reason to like fight for Rhaenyra because she had her son was with Rhaenyra, but at that time they weren't doing the dance. So then her son dies, and then even though this is the daughter of Viserys, the person who she was up against, now she's aligned with Rhaenyra. There's really complex relationships. Like even someone like a Kristen Cole, he's with Rhaenyra, and then he's against Rhaenyra. There's so many like Daemon. Daemon was mad that Rhaenyra was appointed as going to be his heir, and then he goes on to marry her. You know, I mean, so many these interchanging dynamics of who's going to be in power and the power plays. But it's just ultimately it's just sad. Like, yeah, I'm on the team. I'm on the Blacks. I'm on Team Rhaenyra. Ultimately, they all suck. They're terrible people.
That's going to be what's part of the fun of watching the series is they all suck. They all suck. They're all wrong in some way, shape, or form. It's the peak of the Targaryen power and pomposity, and we're gonna see that depicted on screen, and that's gonna be part of the fun of what we see. That pomposity blowing up in their faces, literally with dragonfire, and I think it's gonna be interesting. And these two are gonna be a major focus of that from one side in a perspective. So, and I love that actress too. She's a great actress, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
I actually have a major theory. None of my like Game of Thrones videos the last couple of years got many views, so I've been holding off on it for a while. Eventually, I'm going to put out a theory on Daemon the Daring, or maybe Adam the Whole. Yeah. But anyway, so really, what I'm going to tell people here is that one of the big scenes of season 1 is probably going to be a funeral scene, right? We saw someone get pushed off into the water. We know who that is. During that funeral scene, I'm hoping that we see Daemon Targaryen, right? Daemon Targaryen, he's the younger brother of Aegon and Aemon One Eye. But supposedly, and Helena. I'm leaving out the girl. Look at me. See, I'm doing it. I'm talking about the guys and leaving out the girl. But like Daemon, the older boys, it's like maybe Aegon wasn't as bad as like Aemon One Eye is a total douche. Aegon, maybe he wasn't, then he becomes a douche. But I'm really hoping that Daemon was kind of that like younger kid that gets pulled into this war, but he likes the other side. I'm hoping that we see some of that. Some of the family members are like, what are we doing? It's like I played with him 5 years ago. That's my friend.
Bridge. That's a part of, and it's not an issue I'm worried about necessarily. Are there going to be enough likable characters in this show? Characters you're going to want to actually root for. I know it's going to be a lot of grayness, a lot of characters that are doing some effed up stuff that you're going to enjoy watching. But is this series, other than like when Nettles gets introduced, but in the first season here, are we going to have a trouble finding characters we can really, really root for? Is everyone going to be kind of douchey?
I think that it's going to be hard to root for a lot of these people. I think that if you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. You're going to find a reason not to like them. You know what I mean? But I really think that they're going to play everybody gray, and that you're really not going to know. You're not going to know who to go with.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's it, because there's going to be certain things that say they deserve to get it, and there'll be certain things that say they don't deserve to get it. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it's going to be and stuff. You're just not going to know exactly who deserves what and everything else, so.
They are, and Kelly Johnson said they're all going to be douches. We do have a text right now, and we got a voicemail. Now, the text says, how, quote unquote, dark do you think they'll go with Daemon? Game of Thrones did not do that with Tyrion because he was a fan favorite due to Dinklage's performance. I think Matt Smith will have a similar performance. Daemon was charming and witty, but he was not a good dude.
He's not. I disagree. I understand why the Tyrion aspects come into play, but the major difference between Tyrion and Daemon is that Tyrion had to rely on his wits. Daemon can kick your ass.
Yeah.
And when someone has the ability to kick your ass, they ain't trying to be that witty, right? And the wittiness goes out the window then. I'm not just going to make a joke and walk away. I'm going to pull my sword and stab you in your neck. And that's going to be the end. Oh, you made a joke about me? Oh, you're dead now. How, you laughing now, motherfucker? It's going to be like that. So I think that's what it's going to be the difference between them. But what do you think, Britt?
I mean, I think I disagree with some fans who see Tyrion as dark as he is. I personally do. I interpret some of those chapters where like he has naughty thoughts about Sansa. I interpret them a little differently than other people. I have a very big soft spot for Tyrion because of what he's been through. And yeah, I think Tyrion's actually a really good guy, even in the books. That's just my stance. Because I mean, like we have dark thoughts and stuff, but it's like if you look at what he actually does, he's a great guy.
Now, I just wanted to double check the voicemail. We do have a voicemail, area code 857. Let's check this out.
So what the fuck was that?
It was Littlefinger.
Nah, I'm kind of calling while you guys are talking about it. So I'm on my phone as well. I don't know if somebody's gonna say it by the time I say it, but I think Daemon's gonna be in season 2. How Stannis was introduced in season 2, like just out of nowhere and kind of like only talked about in dialogue. It makes sense. Like he doesn't really do too much until then. He's a good guy. Him and Joffrey, unless they include Joffrey, not Baratheon, but Joffrey Valerion. So yeah, Daeron is not going to be in season 1. At least I don't think so. I'll be surprised if he is. But thanks.
Based off the timeline, because like I haven't analyzed the trailers and stuff too much, but because we do have 2 timelines going on, but some of those kids are younger. So are we going to see like younger versions of them just hanging out in the background without getting dialogue? I think that's what'll happen. I think we'll actually see him, but I don't think he'll necessarily play that big a part.
Exactly, I agree with that as well.
But to play devil's advocate, no, I hope he does. Again, because this theory I'm putting out, I hope that he has some some lines. But because it's going to be a big scene, like that whole Vagar thing over there. Where was that? Was that on Driftmark? Is that where Aemon One Eye got Vagar? Regardless, it's during like funerals and whatnot. So it's like the kids are going to be all interacting with each other away from the parents. So who knows? Maybe Daeron could pop up, not in that scene because we know he's not in that scene, but at some point, I'm hoping Daeron plays with Adam of Hull. You'll see why.
Hoping, yeah. Well, I think you may get your wish on that one. I really do. It's the picture. I mean, I keep showing the picture and not switching the thing. Let me switch it real quick. This is a picture, a good picture, I think, of Rhaenyra right here. I think she looks very nice here. The actress looks so much older here than she did with her hair up for some reason, I think.
That's a great picture. That's a great image.
It is really a good shot.
How many people are using that as a thumbnail?
I think a bunch of them. I've seen a bunch. I have a lot of people using that for the thumbnail. I've seen a bunch. All right, this right here, this picture to me is the last episode of the first season. This right here.
Do you think it goes as far as like them getting married? Is that where we're ending the season?
I think, yeah, they get married. We see in the trailer they get married.
Oh yeah, that's right. They have shots of that. Okay. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So there's no doubt about it that they're definitely going to get married and stuff like that. We see
it looks so cool. That the Dragonstone thing looks so awesome here. I don't know why, but it looks better here than it did in.
I think it's the candles. I think the fire.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Season 1 of The Witcher was like, I loved it, but it was very difficult to understand. I've read the books countless times, like 20 times maybe. They're really short books. And even for me, I was like, what the heck is going on with this timeline? It was really tricky. So Game of Thrones, or excuse me, House of Dragon, they're playing they're rolling the same dice with that, with the 2 timelines. It's going to be difficult for them to pull it off, but I think they'll do a good job.
It's a high degree of difficulty, but if they pull it off, it works. Again, I go to Better Call Saul that does it with the Gene timeline and the regular timeline. When you can pull it off, it's exceptionally awesome to be able to bounce between timelines. And I think, again, you just got to go to the creative force behind this show. There's a good creative force. George is attached to it more than so, and he's welcome in the building. I think this show is going to feel really fleshed out, and I think they're going to really flesh out both those storylines. I'm super cautiously optimistic just because I don't like overhyping things in my mind, but everything looks really awesome from this trailer. It really does.
It better. I mean, listen, how much budget do they have? They have like the budget they had for the last season. Right off the bat. So there's really, they have no excuse for it not to look good. You know what I mean? It has to look better than it did. They have a bigger budget. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. But no, I do think this table looks great. I wish they would sell this fucking table. I'd buy it myself. You know, and have it in my house. This
dude,
table.
I'd come to Bridge and I would come to your house and we do a podcast around it.
We need to get on Etsy. Someone on Etsy should make this motherfucking table.
Yeah, that's the Usual Suspects podcast table when we're in person.
Right there.
Right there.
But I do believe this is the end. This is the the get out shit, baby get out scene after that, because wait a second. So, oh my God, I got to now I got to think about that situation now too, because that would come then too, right? She would have to be pregnant.
Yep.
And then she'd have to do the baby get out scene. That would have to happen then too. And
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And we haven't seen any scenes from any trail of her being pregnant.
Not even nothing so far.
Nothing close. So maybe they don't do that. Maybe they just take the pregnancy out of it altogether, and that's too raw for TV. What do you think? You think that scene is just too raw for TV, and they're not gonna do that?
So here's something that I'm hoping that we see within the show, because I personally believe that dragons shouldn't exist. I don't think they're natural. There's obviously speculation as to how they were created. It's probably some sort of blood magic tied with wyverns, right? So it's like, I don't think dragons should ever exist in the first place. I think that possibly the only way to create dragons is to have, like, think about when Dany basically sacrificed Rhaego. She sacrificed Rhaego to have those dragons, to give them life. And even though in the past, we don't really hear about that because we don't have that focal point type chapter of Dany actually sacrificing Rhaego in our thoughts, but it's like there are cases where people give birth to stillbirths with like wings and leathery skin, and then the history records as like, maybe that was make believe, maybe they were lying. I think that you literally have to sacrifice babies, unborn babies, to make dragons. I think that's really unfortunate. So yeah, I hope we see something like that.
So you think that they're going to show the baby get out scene?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little dragon baby. Well, not really, but I think it'll be something like didn't, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I haven't read this in like a year or two, but I'm pretty sure Rhaenyra's baby was stillborn and it had like leather and wings and stuff like that. It was just like Dany.
She was all stressed out when she heard everything, and then it was a stillbirth like that. I believe so. I think you're right.
So she may have effectively paid the price for future dragons that her sons had, or something like that. It's not necessarily like a 1-for-1 trade, but I don't know. I think she did something very dirty by
It could be late Starfall. So can you please at some point mention Daemon's mistress? I want to know more about. So we talked about her a little bit, you know what I mean? But let's talk about her again. So are they gonna? Are they? We talk. He has a bunch of mistresses, but
I was just gonna say which one. I know the one we see in the clip.
So the one we see in the trailer, Lady Misery. We'll go with Bridge. Do you want to do the background on her real quick? Of what we know about her?
If I know it, I think she was like, basically he went around, because when he's with the gold cloaks, he was sleeping around in like the brothels. And my man, I wish we had that. I wish I could go do that. Right?
You wish you were David.
But so I'm not sure if he actually slept with, like, I don't know if he slept with her in a brothel or if she was like working. She might have been like the person in charge of it. Regardless, he falls in love with her, and then he gives her dragon egg, and then she ends up getting pregnant. She leaves, and apparently the baby. She loses the baby. I'm pretty sure she's from Lice. So like Lice is known to having like a lot of pillow houses and stuff. Like a lot of Targaryen girls that didn't have a future within the family, they'd go over to Lice, or they'd escape the Sept and to go over to Lice. I forgot, what was the question?
Yeah, so we're doing background on her and stuff and everything. Is explaining to the people who she is and what she's about.
I guess what would really be interesting is whether like, is she a shadow binder? Like, does she have skills like Melisandre? That's where I think it'll get really interesting with the show.
Well, I think it may come down to, because we do hear about a couple of people in there, right, that may have some warging ability. We hear about that one girl in the cats, like, the cats that's always around all the cats, and it could be a situation where she's actually warging these cats. I can't think of her name right offhand, but I do remember that. So there could be some warging, not warging, but skin changing factor. But she becomes the Varys of the show, right? She becomes she becomes the master of whisperers for Daemon and everything else, and she goes out terrible too, and everything else like that. But that's basically her part in it and stuff like that. And then he has another mistress named Nettles, who's a black girl, and then she's got to come on there too. So you'll have her, because I won't go into all that, but so we'll have those two mistresses in the show. Plus, he'll be married to and all that good stuff.
Daemon.
Yeah, Bridge is gonna cosplay as David.
Yeah.
At the next God.
Dude, I am obsessed with Nettles. I can't wait to see who they cast for Nettles.
You know what I mean, and all that stuff. But I can't remember who that lady was who was talking about the cats. But they were saying specifically, people think that she could see through these cats. Who was that? And I think she
I don't
could
remember
see.
that.
Yeah, because he had all the cats around, and they were like, "Oh, people think that she sees through the cats," and I think it's this too spot on with Arya that she has to somehow have some type of skin changing ability.
I feel like I don't remember that line, but I feel like that's got to be Mysaria. Wouldn't it be her because she's with information?
Bridge, I know you don't really know actresses, but do you have a dream casting for Nettles?
I have no idea. I don't know like 10 actors' names.
Bring Natalie Dorman back. In fact, in the animated series, if you look at Nettles, she does look like Natalie Dorman. So they
no. Natalie Dorman is Renly's girl. I think you're talking about
not Renly,
Natalie Emmanuel.
Natalie Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Bring her back.
Yeah, she can do. Yeah, it's okay. We'll deal with the recast. It's okay.
Yeah, you can bring her back. We'll take the Dragon Demands is rocking with us right now. He's in the building, rocking. Thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it, man. We appreciate everybody rolling here with us. All right, let's get back to some more of these photos and stuff. So we've seen the table. I think it's the best looking the table's ever looked. Again, I think that this is going to be episode 10 with this table right here at that exact picture right there.
Ooh, all right. First. Ooh, that's exciting.
So
look at the wall. Look at the wall there. It's burnt down, right?
This is Harrenhal.
Is this Harrenhal? I was just gonna say, is this Harrenhal?
Oh, that's where they're doing it.
Yeah, this is Harrenhal.
That's why it's massive. Nice. That's awesome.
So that's why this has to be the great council.
I'm actually really excited to see more of Harrenhal in this series. That's one of the highlights of the series for me, to get to see more of Harrenhal and spend more time there.
This is sick. This gives you vibes of, remember the Lord of the Rings scene where they're running through the caves. And there's those huge pillars and all the goblins come. That's how big this room is.
We should not have gone this way.
Well, you don't realize the scale, and that's something they didn't do in Game of Thrones. They didn't show you the true scale of Harrenhal. Like, you didn't know how big Harrenhal. I mean, Tywin speaks about it to Arya, but they don't show. Like, this shot shows you.
Tony, you're so right. It's he talks to Arya about it. We spend some time there, but it seems very small. You never get the scope of it. You
do. One time, real quick, when they're walking into Harrenhal, Arya's with Gendry, they're prisoners. Yeah. You do quickly see it where they look up and they're like,
when they're like looking around as they're walking in and stuff. Yeah, you're right.
That's the only time.
But in the scenes inside it, actually, it seems just more small, soundstagey kind of. You don't really get a feel like this visual scene you're seeing in this clip right here.
Because it's basically, I mean, again, we talked a little bit earlier about a dragon being a nuclear bomb. So basically, this would be as if a nuclear bomb hit your castle, and the remnants are still there. You can still see the damage from it, and you're living in this place. And that's what it's supposed to look like, and that's why it is, and everything else. And as a nuclear bomb would hit a place, you would get radiation, and you most likely would die. But for some reason, all the lords who have this, they die. Not from nuclear waste, but it's the same type of situation that goes down there in dealing with the curse of Harrenhal and everything else. But I do think they did a great job. So this is definitely the Great Council. There's no other reason for it to be anything else right now in season 1 but that. It's a flashback scene. Most likely, when she's saying this to young Rhaenyra, they'll flash back to this while she's talking about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's why I was saying tons of flashbacks. Yeah, we're going to see a lot more flashbacks in this series, to repeat myself from earlier, than we saw in the main Game of Thrones series, where we only saw a handful, not counting Bran flashbacks. I think the only one we really did see was the Cersei flashback. It's a true flashback, not a vision of the past. So yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of those. I agree with you 100% on that one, Tony. I think that's exactly how we'll see this particular scene.
Yeah, that's what Dragon Man. We got love for you on here and everything else. But now you're saying that Natalie is too nice to be her. That's called acting. I think she can act different, and that the fact that Nettles is young they're not gonna have that young girl be with Daemon. They're gonna age her up in the show. It's like they aged up everybody else in the show. They're gonna age people up, so it ain't gonna be no teenager walking around here. It's like Arya wasn't no 9-year-old with a sword.
No, they'll make her like 25.
Yeah, they'll definitely age because they're gonna have him. She's gonna be fucking this chick. They're gonna have to show her naked. You know what I mean?
I want to see boobies.
Yeah, you will see boobies.
So
Guaranteed.
that's a very controversial point. You know how like one of the major talk points of Game of Thrones is that they forced the nudity on us and stuff. Personally, it's like I don't need it at all. I don't need nudity in shows to enjoy them. I kind of like nudity, especially in like something like Game of Thrones.
I like naked women.
I do too.
That's why we're friends.
It's just like, you know, every now and then a quick little scene, like, and I'm not like it could be. I want the naked guy too, like, you know, it's seeing them beating together. Like,
we ain't friends anymore.
I don't need to see the guy, but it's like I don't just want to see the girl. Like, I like seeing them like pretend like they're hopping on the good foot and doing the bad thing. It's sexy, you know. Like love is beautiful. I don't mind watching it.
No, I don't care what I don't care. Listen, that goddamn if y'all women want to see male frontal nudity, go watch that HBO Lakers show.
Oh
really?
yeah, Winning Time.
Winning Time, because there's nothing but male
or the Pam and Tommy Lee series.
Nothing but male frontal nudity in that show, and they're in the locker room. You see all you want to see, ladies. Go right ahead and watch the show.
There's a Netflix show, Sex Life, where it had like a guy, he had his dong hanging out. Those two people ended up hooking up, the actors and actresses in real life. They're now dating. That's what I don't get. When actors and actresses do these scenes, like, how do you not fall in love with the person? Like you're acting, but they do. I know, right?
Bridge, in fairness, sometimes it does happen. I haven't done it in movies, but I've done it in plays where you've had to like hook up with people in a play over like, weeks and weeks and weeks with the same person.
Yeah.
After a while, it does become kind of mechanical because you're doing it in like a specific way. So it becomes more of a physical action. I mean, you can get into it and you're playing it and you're getting into it, but it's neither person worries about their breath. With all respect, we both had coffee breath, and neither one of us cared. It became very non-sexy the longer it went on, because and on TV and movies, you're doing this repetition over and over, like 40, 50 times over and over again. So it does become unsexy. It unsexifies it.
Sorry, I brought us into like a stupid conversation.
Oh no, this is stupid.
Dragon the Man says we're gonna get a hardcore Lenore and Joffrey sex scene. Yes, you will. You definitely will. They will have to talk about his homosexuality, and you definitely will get a sex scene between them two. If not sex, you will get. Listen, you had a sex scene between Renly and Loras, kind of. Yep. Not a big one, but they gave you a little bit. So yeah, you're definitely going to see that. They're not going to fly away, right? The Jackie C slut dragons are correct. Goddamn slut dragon.
But going back to like my main thing, there's a lot of things I'm excited for. One of the things is like, what's true? Is it Eustace? Is Mushroom? So like something like Laenor. Like what happened to Laenor? Like potentially Daemon was behind it, but who knows? Could have been a fight. Could have been jealousy. We're gonna see. Now, what's also interesting though is that.
Do you think that they would? All right, so they could do it in a way where you don't know, as like the books, or they could do it in a way that you definitely know. What do you think they will do? Do you think they will do it in a way that you definitely know what happened, or they'll keep the mystery going?
That's a good question. I hadn't even thought about the fact that they could do it in a way where you still don't know. I'm hoping that they give us a version of the story, and if that version doesn't fit your version with the books, that version of the book still lives on inside your head if you wanted to.
What do you think, Phil?
You're muted, Phil.
I think they're going to do their own thing. I definitely think they're going to do their own thing.
So they'll explicitly tell us. They'll give us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And this brings a secondary point. Is the universe in which this show exists a representation of the story of the books, or is this the universe that the television show exists? I know it's a trivial question, but it is important just from an overall standpoint. I know it's a separate subject, but it's something I've been thinking about too, as is this, in threat of a better word, this canon, the television show canon, or is this its own unique thing moving forward? And I think it's the television show canon.
Wouldn't it be great?
I agree. They'll do it. That's a visual medium, so you'll have to see some underhanded deal, just like the if you ever see Rome and stuff like that, and there was
Yeah.
one guy who was the priest who was there, and he gets killed and stuff, and oh, why'd they kill this guy? Why'd they kill this guy? And at the end of the scene, they show Caesar's slave go to him and say, listen, if you ever do something like that again, we're never going to hire you again because it was put too public and stuff. But you didn't know who did it. You know what I mean? Until they showed that scene. And that means that Caesar was behind it. This guy was bad mouthing.
Yeah, they're going to make it obvious, I think.
And that's what, so I think he'll definitely do anything like that. I think it'll be like that when it goes down. We got the queen of Westeros with her husband, I think at this time. When she's kissing him.
No, that's isn't this? I thought that earlier there was a clip of this is young Allison walking up.
Yeah, this is young Allison.
This is her. Just maybe even right towards the wedding. This isn't the wedding of them getting married, is it?
She's young. I think she gets. Are they going to have her marry him young?
That's what's weird is that I'm pretty sure they're only 11 years different in the books. She's like much younger than him here. Also, he has long hair here. To me, he looks older here in the future. Right where he has short hair, that's when he's older, right?
Yeah. You're right, Britt.
He looks older. He looks
the oldest here. This is the oldest vision of him that we've seen.
Yeah, I actually did a bunch of double takes because I'm like, wait a second, is this Jaehaerys? And I was like, no, this is Paddy Constantine. It's the same actor. And I started telling myself, I'm like, are they going to use the same actor for Jaehaerys? Because this scene just confused me a little bit, just because of age difference.
Yeah, no, he definitely looks like he's about to die.
Yeah, he does. Tony, he's knocking on heaven's door right here.
Yeah, right here. The swan song is being sung into his ear right now.
Yeah, but when he has short hair, he looks younger again. That's pretty odd.
See you at the crossroads, like crossroads background.
All right, we see a dragon egg in the pot. Now, I don't think they're going to eat it here, but I think it is a unique situation that they're actually showing, maybe how to hatch a dragon.
They're going to crack it. They're going to make an omelet with it.
It would be a hell of an omelet.
That would be a delicious fucking dragon omelet, dude.
Be disgusting eating a dragon.
Scaly and shit. You think it'd be all scaly?
But is this a metaphor to what happens to Rhaegar? Like, do they try the same thing? Rhaegar put it in this pot and go into some hole and somehow it doesn't work. I think it's wildfire.
Trivially, but is this the same egg that we see Daemon?
Not Rhaegar. I'm sorry. Rhaegar is born. Egg. I'm sorry.
Is this the same egg we see Daemon with earlier in the trailer? Do you think?
Yeah, because this one looks very dark, right? Yeah, the other one this one looks black. And the dragon eggs, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the dragon eggs have coloring just like the dragons that they eventually turn out to be. So this would be like it's not Cannibal's egg, but this reminds me of like Drogon's egg or Cannibal's egg.
Yeah, it's black as hell, and you're right. It's supposed to be the same exact color as the dragon if they're going that route. Yeah,
they might not do that though.
This is its scene comes right after the dragon egg scene. So do you think it is, or just put that in like what is she like that fire beneath her is not what the dragon egg is in? It's not because that's molten lava in that dragon egg, right?
Yeah, I don't think this is the same scene.
That's what it looks like, lava in that thing down there. So I don't think it's the same scene either.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She looks good. She's a hot looking chick. I mean, I can't hate on her. I really can't. I can see why he would marry her. All right, we have the whole Valyrian family right here,
and they look pissed.
Oh, look at the guy in the very left. Is it Vagon or something? Is that Vagon?
That's
like his
right here.
Son, that guy.
The son, right?
That's not the son. The son's in the middle. The son is Laenor.
This is the brother. This is the Laenor.
Yeah, Vagon is his brother or nephew, something like that.
Yeah, this is the brother. Then you got 1, 2 back here, and 2 women right here. I think it's a woman too. It's 3 with another guy right here, then 3 women. So all the guys are like behind him, and then all the ladies are behind her.
Daemon, maybe I can't think of his name.
Yeah, and this is the daughter that's gonna pass away, Daemon's wife, right here in the front. And also
exactly, Carlo Wayne. This is how you make an entrance. This is a great entrance.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
when like like what's going on. Like we run these motherfuckers. We run the seven kingdoms. Listen, because he is the richest man in the seven kingdoms, man. You know what I mean? And it shows in this picture. Like, yo, we got all the dough right here. We got all the dough. We got it all. We running this ship right here. And
So that's my girl on the right? That's Lena. Lena looks hot.
yes,
Oh,
that's her
yeah.
on the right, all the way on the right. With that,
I'm sorry, I'm so superficial. But Vaemon's going down possibly in season 1. He's done.
I think so. I think if
Yeah.
Baby season 1, he will get taken out.
Yeah.
I think it's a good chance of that.
Look at Lenore, his outfit. Oh yeah, I guess I'm buying into the whole outfits thing. Like his outfit looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I can't believe I just started saying that. I'm like, what am I saying? I mean, it's a little too fancy for me. It's got a lot of patterns and stuff. I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool. It is
Well,
cool.
I
It's
think-
his hair too. His hair looks pretty awesome. The
I
way
think
like
that there's a
frames his
reason
head.
why they're showing him all gussied up like that and everything.
Oh, you think this is wedding? Maybe.
Well,
no, they look very
yeah.
angry to me. They look very pissed off in this scene. Like they're
Oh, that's right. They do look
expressing-
mad.
They don't have the wedding expression. I mean, I kind of get that way at weddings because I'm like, I don't want to be social, but I
No,
don't.
you're right.
And then we see this is Daemon. His hair is short as fuck.
Yeah, what's up? What's he doing there?
Yeah,
This
it
is so
has to be
when he gets older, his hair
long
gets shorter.
time.
Is that what's happening?
I'm thinking his hair is shorter than the hair of the father back in time.
Oh, further back. Okay.
Oh, so this is supposed to be like a flashback, another flashback.
So this is before he's doing like the gold cloaks and stuff. This is when he's like master of coin, let's say, something like that.
Yeah,
He's like, and eventually he gets tired. He's like, this sucks.
Yeah, he looks bored. He definitely looks bored in this scene. He's not killing or having sex with somebody at this point in time. He's not having fun.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Do we know who
We see right here, Lenore. He's in the same outfit right here at the dance. So they're coming there for the dance at this particular time. You know what I mean? So it's just, you could see right here, if you go back, he's in that outfit here, and then you see him in the same outfit dancing right here.
Yeah, they're doing the lambada. That's the forbidden dance.
And look at her hair. Her hair is so nice.
Yes, look at the curls in it. I wonder what they mean by that curl on the side. It's symbolizing the dragon inside her.
That's about to be inside her.
But how often is
about to be a huge dragon inside her?
Not him. It won't be no sea snake inside her.
Yeah, how often is a girl gonna wear white? This has got to be a wedding, no?
No, it's definitely a wedding. Definitely.
It's either a wedding or an engagement party.
Okay.
It looks like a wedding-ish dress that she's wearing.
So this is the same scene where they come in all mad?
Yeah, this is when they all come in.
Yeah.
I think they're just being announced, you know what I mean? Like, this is the House Valerian, Call In House Valerian, boom, boom, boom. And here we are, you know what I mean? Just running the show. I think that's what it is. And then they do this big dancing. It's like, we seen the dance scene in the they had the dance scene in the Gilded Age at the end, right? That was the big ending. Like all the girls we got to get to dance. We have to have the ball inside of somebody's house. But I think they're going to go, and I like the fact that they're doing this, is showing, that there is a fun time that we had, right?
Now, Ruben asks the question: this is going to only be Targaryens, or are we going to see Children of the Forest, Three-Eyed Raven, Man Without a Face? Mainly Targaryens, but we will see some of the other families' engagement and how they dealt with the Targaryens. So I don't think we're going to see any Children of the Forest or Three-Eyed Raven.
Not that I don't think there'll be any Children of the Forest or anything like that in there at all.
It would be cool, like, because I think Leaf had walked around for like 200 years. So technically, Leaf was walking around the Westeros at this point, below the wall.
Oh,
so
that could be. I mean, listen,
that'd be cool if we saw her just all of a sudden like.
this Leaf shows up at the wedding real quick and then bounces.
I saw you at your wedding. You looked beautiful.
Wait. Isn't there a scene though? There is a scene at the God's Eye though.
Yeah, so I believe is it Darren or Adam of Hull? I should know this since I've got a big theory how it relates to that.
Adam.
I think it was one of them went out there supposedly to speak to them.
To speak to them and stuff, right? So the Green Men. So if you wanted to say that the Green Men are the Children of the Forest or something like that, then Jalen would say Adam Hull. Yeah, so I think we could see a situation like that. So Yeah, maybe we'll see that there. Maybe let's keep going with these pictures.
That would be a major reveal if we get confirmation that there were children of the forest. Let's call them what they really are. They're singers, those who sing the Song of Earth. That would be a huge reveal if we see them during this timeline,
If
still
they're real,
south of the wall.
if they're really trying to create some sort of Song of Ice and Fire television universe, that wouldn't be completely outrageous to say that they would do some sort of a connecting tissue to another show that they would want to do based around the Children of the Forest or something moving forward. So if this show's a success, Bridge, I think you might see stuff like that. I think it's all going to depend on the reaction of this first season. If they get that response that you were talking about earlier with, the biggest premiere ever, and they keep that audience pushed through because of the quality that seems to be dictated here, I think you might see things like that in trying to build a bigger universe and tell the entire tale.
Real quick, just you don't have to answer this if you think it's too spoilery, but like, personally, I think some people expect this story to go further than I think the show is going to take it. Like, I don't think we're going to get the Hour of the Wolf in this show. I think it's going to end before then.
No, we're not going to
No.
get anything. Once the main people die, it's over.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, it's not going to go into all this, and we're going to take you back to the north, and you marry me, lady, and you're not getting any of that shit.
Some people want this series to be the entire Targaryen history, like everything up to the point.
It's not going to be that. Shorty says, "What channel is it on HBO?" It's on HBO and HBO Max.
HBO Max. Is it also going to be airing
the beautiful Mara Chase?
Oh, Mara Chase. Oh, the show can start now. We can start the show now, and
I wouldn't mind seeing Mara play Nettles.
Or Charisse. Wow. There's actually no. I was going to say in the Blu-ray stuff there is a scene of Nettles and Daemon, but it's not Nettles laying down in like a sexy outfit like her. It's not Nettles laying down in the bed like that. It's Daemon. Daemon's like
Daemon, and she's out the window and shit. Yeah. Good night to Michelle Hayes. Has got to go. Good night, Michelle.
Night, Michelle.
And all that. I agree. So this is right here. This is the funeral of Daemon's wife, and I said in my video Daemon's wife, and it's like, well, he had a wife before her. I don't know if they're gonna go into that. I think they may just say this is his wife.
Maybe in passing in a flashback, but I think they're gonna. I think
they're not going to the bronze.
No.
Bitch.
No, not
wait,
at all.
wait. I don't see the reason why for them to go into the bronze. Like, I don't know how that helps this.
It'll be mentioned, but we won't see it.
Have you guys looked at the? I think this is a different scene. This is who do you think this is? Up at the Vale?
No. This is.
Okay.
No, this is Corley. When he's married to Corley's Valerion's daughter.
Lena.
Yeah, Lena. This is her funeral.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But someone was telling me they were bringing up because I said his wife, and they were like, yeah, but he was married before that, and I was like, I don't think they're gonna go into the bronze bitch. I don't see that how that pushes the story forward that they're trying to tell.
No, it's because like you can't go too far back in here. Like, what type of flashbacks are we looking at?
Sorry, Tony's cat.
Yeah, she might already be dead when they start the story.
Tony's cat's in heat right now. So
yeah, what was that?
It was Tony's cat wanting to have sex with him right now, and it was coming on to Tony and getting very excited.
This is a pretty cool take on a funeral, though. Granted that you have that little rock there that's set to like push the casket over. What do you have? Just a bunch of dead bodies, like right there.
Yeah, that's a smelly little brook right there. Don't let the kids swim in that brook right there.
Real.
We have spy photos of a lady who seems to be wearing bronze armor. There's always talk about Winter of Westeros and Game of Thrones. Is this show to show us the summer? This show will mainly be summer. I don't think we'll see any. Do you think we'll see any winter in this show at any point? No.
I can't remember weather being too big a factor. Like there are times with like rain and stuff, but that's about it.
Right. Yeah. As far as I know, it's all. We'll see this all in the summer.
Yeah, it's the coffin. We've seen this in the spy photos. The coffin getting a hold off, dropped into the water. That's their tradition, I guess, to drop people into the water. We didn't learn that in the books, but that's something we're learning now. They drop the bodies into the water.
Tony's cat's auditioning for the part of Daemon.
And this is her. And I think at the funeral she's gonna have sex with Daemon for the first time.
Yep.
At the funeral, she's gonna get it. They're gonna get it on as adults and stuff. And I think she's good.
I turned Bridge. I had the same effect. Oh
No, that was actually me. That was me being a nerd about the story, the character arc. Look at Kristen Cole, like this dynamic of him looking over at Rhaenyra. So depending on how their relationship was in the past versus how it is now, like that was me geeking out. Like Kristen Cole is going to be an interesting character.
He is. I think he'll be. I think if anyone they're gonna hate anyone, he'll be the guy they hate. I think he'll be the hated person.
Hightower as well. I think we're gonna hate him as well. Essentially, he's gonna.
Yeah, the father too may be hated.
Yeah,
too.
the father. I think we're gonna. He's gonna be set up as Tywin schemer ish on that level on the show.
But I think people love Tywin. I don't think people hated Tywin in game. I think people liked him.
People should hate him. He is one of I consider him literally the most evil character in the story.
I'm with you.
And everyone's like, what are you talking about? He's just good at the game. I'm like, he literally pinned in men, women, and children and drowned them all alive. This guy is a total scumbag.
Preach, Bridge.
Right? But people love him.
Charles Dance is charming as hell from a television standpoint. Like, that's part of it. Charles Dance charmed the pants off everybody.
Yeah.
But the character is reprehensible. Let's not get past. He destroyed whole families. He's a reprehensible human being. Tywin Lannister.
But also, look at Steph Snow. I love Tywin.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great character, just not a great human.
Yeah, the real YT. Tywin's one of my favorite characters on the show.
He's a great character, as Bridge just said. He's an amazing character, but he is a horrible
human you love to hate.
Yeah, I love to hate him because he's horrible, because he's a horrible human being.
Because people like someone like Ramsay, like he has mental issues. Someone like Gregor Clegane, he possibly has physical, like head injury issues. So there are reasons why some evil people do the evil things they do. Tywin like fully knows everything he does. He's fully aware of all his choices.
He's a bitter small man.
He's right. Terrible.
I think it's like this. It comes down to a situation like this. Sometimes it takes a monster to control monsters, right? Like you have to be that way when you're living. Like I'm going to give and I'm just going to talk. I'm going to give you a political modern day version of this, but I'm not trying to talk politics or anything. But if you look at like Saddam Hussein, right? And people say Saddam Hussein was a terrorist. He used to take people and throw their families in the lion pits. He used to, feed their family, feed your mother, feed your grandmother to the lions. He did this, he did that, he did that. But look what happened when he left. When he was there, no one did shit. Like, you didn't want no part of his ass. But as soon as he was killed off is when the craziness started. Yeah. You didn't hear about nothing when he was there. Because sometimes when you have people who are willing to blow themselves up to kill you, you can't do anything to them. But he was like, oh, don't worry about dying. It's not going to be you. It's going to be your grandmother, your grandfather, your kids, and blah, blah. And after I kill all of them and you watch it, then I'm going to take your ass out.
It's that Joker stuff, like putting you to the test. Like, I don't care. I don't care about me. So I definitely don't care about you. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's those are the people that are the most characters, because we're talking about characters here, not humans.
Sure.
Those are the characters that are the hardest to deal with for even the gray characters or the good characters or the bad characters, because they just don't give a flying bleep. I don't know why I just said bleep. Like, fuck.
So someone like Maegor the Cruel. It's like you can make an argument that the Targaryen dynasty wouldn't have continued if Visenya hadn't flown over and got Maegor the Cruel.
Yeah.
But excuse me. But then someone like Jaehaerys, he was known as like the conciliator, the wise king. Like, he was a really good guy, and Alysanne was even better. But there were times where he rode up with his dragon, and it's like it was the threat of having the dragon. Like, he didn't have to go around killing men, women, and children and drowning them. He could show off his power in different ways. Tywin Lannister is a scumbag.
All right, we'll go, and on that we'll go back to the pictures of this show and everything else. But
she's a hottie.
She does look hot. I ain't gonna lie about it. So she can get it twice.
I'm a big nerd. She was in that movie. It's Ready Player One, and she's like a little cartoon character. And I'm like, I would have and so you have like another guy, the guy cartoon character with her, and they're in this like virtual world. I'm like, I want to go to the meta world. I kiss a girl in the meta world. She's a cute cartoon character.
She does look this. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie. All right, so this
Ooh.
right here, people like, who is this? I think it has to be Daemon.
Daemon?
Yeah, yeah,
Daemon Targaryen?
yeah. I think it's him.
Doing from what? Why is he
Because
getting thrown
the
down?
reason why I think it's him is because these are gold cloaks that are grabbing this person up, and I don't think the gold cloaks just grab anybody up. I think they grab up someone who's important. And these aren't cities watch. This is gold cloaks that got your ass. The King's Guard.
Kingsguard, you mean?
King's Guard. I'm
White
sorry.
cloaks.
Yeah, white cloaks. This is the King's Guard who has you. So when the King's Guard has you, I think you have to be important, right? It has to be something and everything else. So I think that it could be the time when he talked shit about his brother, and then they grabbed his ass up for talking shit about his brother.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember that.
you know, when he was mad at his brother because his brother wouldn't get everything, he talked that bullshit about him, and then his brother. I think this is what it is.
So like, I feel like I don't know. You can't see who it is. I feel like it would be like Aben One Eye or someone maybe. No, like someone getting yelled. Someone getting yelled at for calling the Valarian boys strong.
No. So Dragon Demand says it right here in this thing. He said, I think along the heart, I think it's Daemon after being dropped from a brothel for his king for a day, jape, and why this would have any Rhaenyra and Elsa's children to do up here any otherwise. And I do think that exactly that time when he made that joke about his brother and all them, the king for the day. And I think
yeah. Okay.
I think they went in there and grabbed his ass up for it.
That makes
and
sense.
brought him in front of the king. And it's like, what the fuck do you think is going on?
I guess when I watched the trailer, like he's got such short hair, I forgot that I guess that could fit with the timeline.
Yeah, if he's in the brothel, this is where he would be dressed, like just waking up and shit. And they went in there and grabbed his ass up.
They're going to adjust the timeline to suit television standards to a certain extent too.
Yeah, it's not going to be strictly,
Is that you're saying that's the Matt Damon actor though? He looks tinier than isn't Matt Damon big?
Matt Damon.
Matt Smith.
I want you to keep calling him Matt Damon because it's awesome.
It's hard to tell. I mean, and the nose
looks tiny.
He looks tiny. The nose looks a little different too here too. But
yeah, that doesn't look like Matt Smith to me. But it could be.
Who else are these fuckers going to be grabbing up like this? The King's Guard. And thrown on the floor. It's like they're throwing him on the floor in front of the king. You know what I mean? You look at the pillar. This is the throne room.
Yeah.
So who else is going to get thrown in the throne room in front of the king?
Carla Wayne says it doesn't look quite big enough to be Matt Smith.
Yeah, that's why I think like it could just be something like there's so many situations where they're calling out Rhaenyra for having bastards and they get yelled at, disciplined by him.
I mean, I can agree that it doesn't look big enough. He does look small compared to, he does look small to be, but I agree on that 100%.
Also, I'm not, I don't know. Maybe there are details in the story. I don't think there's any in Fire and Blood, but I just can't picture Viserys having Daemon treated that. To be honest, no, I can't picture Daemon being treated that way. He's the kind of guy like, we're going to fight into the end, like before someone grabs me. I just can't picture him being manhandled.
You're going to do that to the King's Guard though?
I just don't think the King's Guard would have the authority to, like, they would almost like, there's an understanding, like, don't touch him. Like, Daemon, you've got to come with us, but I just can't picture them touching Daemon. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It depends. If the king says, grab his ass up and bring him to me, they're going to grab his ass up and bring him to him.
But Viserys, he loved Daemon. Like, even though Daemon was such a pain in the ass, like, he loved it. I just can't picture Viserys giving that order.
His ass, though. He kicked his ass out. He loved him that much. When he talked that shit, he had to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he's just not. I just can't picture Viserys being that tough.
Now, Tony and
like, if he wanted to get Daemon, I'd picture him be like, guys, could you go get Daemon? He's acting like a bad boy, but like, just don't touch him. Tell him I have to talk.
I love your voices tonight, Bridge. We do have a voicemail. I believe it's from Miss Steph Snow. This is area code. Let me turn up the volume. 860 from
Go Steph Snow.
Steph Snow.
Hey guys, it's Steph Snow. So I'm just wondering if you think we'll see any cool new castles. Will we see Winterfell again? Will we see wolves again? And maybe any super secret maesters doing some conniving. Love the show. Bye.
What do you
Thank
guys think
you.
about that?
Tumbleton. You got to see Tumbleton. I mean, that,
Ooh.
that's what we'll see without a shadow of a doubt. You'll see Tumbleton and get burned to the ground, but you'll see
So
it.
what is Tumbleton? I never actually visualized. I picture more of like a wood walls and stuff. I don't picture a castle per se. Is there a
I mean, I
castle?
think there's always a keep type situation
Yeah,
there
like
in
a wooden
every
keep.
like town and stuff like that. And any place where a lord is living, I think it's a castle. I think every lord is living in some type of castle. May not be the grandest of castles, but it's a castle in itself. But you would definitely see that. What other? I don't think it's going to go to too many different spots. You know, Winterfell. We may see a
Do
brief
you
scene of it.
do you think we're going to see created for the show plots and storylines featuring the Starks, featuring the Baratheons, featuring other families that don't necessarily exist in the text? Do you guys think that we're going to see show created plot lines to give us some scenes with some of the other families? What do you guys think about that?
I think they have to do a lot to fill in the gaps because there's not a lot there. When you look at the actual story, what is it, a couple of chapters? So they got to give a lot of flashbacks and they got to do a lot of things. Like there's like the scene where we know Rhaenyra and Alicent and the knife that we haven't shown yet, but that didn't happen. But they
So
put
will
that
there be a Stark B storyline throughout them
Think so.
just to kind of spread it out? Do you think we'll see that?
No, I just feel like because we've already talked about so many big events that are going to happen like in season one. So that's already a lot of time that we know of actual events that are, even though, yeah, like Tone said, there's only like X amount of like, if you were listen to it on Audible, there's like what, 4 or 5 hours worth of stuff for
Mhm.
5 seasons worth of stuff, right? It's just not that much material. But in order for it to be on screen, we're going to have dialogue. We're going to have all these intimate scenes. So I can't imagine like, what are we going to, we'll go up north really quickly, maybe in season two, but that's about it. I think.
Yeah, it's not going to be anything big. I mean, you may see like them receive a raven and say, "Oh, they asked you to swear fealty." Like you'll see that, you know what I mean? And you'll see Storm's End, you know what I mean, on the inside. You know what I mean? Storm's End. We haven't seen a good shot of Storm's End ever.
Yeah.
So we'll see Storm's End finally. We'll see it on the inside because a big thing happens in Storm's End at the time. So you're definitely going to see that. You know what I mean? But
The Dragon Demand says, "I really hope we get to see a Stark B storyline, but we have no evidence. I got hopeful that they mentioned Rickard Stark by name in the trailer." So I don't know. I do think this trailer definitely did try to made an active point to name the other families and like have them named in there to make people that maybe felt a little, the everyday people that go, "Oh, I know the Starks," and have them be mentioned in the trailer. So they could go down a B storyline just from a television standpoint. But I agree with you, Bridge. There's so much to do. It's hard for me to imagine that they would do that at least till season two, maybe a somewhat of a side storyline, especially if the show's a success after season one. They might expand the world a little bit.
Well, again, I'm pretty. I haven't read this in a while, but I'm pretty sure it's like Jacaerys flies up there with Vermax trying to recruit them for the war. They never actually get involved. You know what I mean? But it's like, this is a really quick tangent. Didn't Jacaerys? There was rumors about him and maybe a girl named like Sarah Snow, like a bastard or something like that. It would be cool if they slept together, and then all along there's like a bastard up there with the dual
Yeah.
blood.
that
That'd
would
be
be
cool.
phenomenal.
I might just be making it up. Was there a girl called Sarah Snow?
Well, if you're making it up, I'm going with it. That sounds fun. Or doing things like that. So you might see that stuff. Steph Snow says, "Did the Starks
Yeah.
have dire wolves back then?" No, they didn't have. No, not at
No,
that.
the only direwolves came. It's with Ned Stark, and them came with the direwolves. You won't be that and everything else. There's a lot of material there for them to go with, but how much you got to look at the actual story and what's
Yeah.
pushes the plot of that story forward for them to.
Yeah, what is the agenda and what is the prime directive of this particular series? And it's to tell the Targaryen Civil War story.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to stray too much without it. You know what I mean? They're going to stick to the script. You know what I mean? I think that was what a lot of people did complain about Game of Thrones. That it was a lot to follow. And TV shows seems to dumb things down for the audience. And books is when you get all the details and everything. That's why everyone will tell you a book is better because you get all the details, you get everything. But when TV shows, they whittle it down for TV.
And especially that this is also the series that's going to be trying for HBO to jump off the Song of Ice and Fire universe.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be trying a lot to go big with this and go strong with this and go entertaining and bang, 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 bang. They want this series to push headlines and push eyes and be like what Bridge was saying earlier, be the #1 rated premiere of all time. Ever. And keep that up and keep that pushing. That's what they want with this series. That's what HBO is going for. This is the big welcome back.
So
to this world.
This is also going to benefit from the fact that there are some crossover fans from Westworld. So, like, the HBO always has the biggest show on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays.
Dude,
so
they're airing them back to back.
Yeah, exactly. Westworld's going to lead right into Game of Thrones. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is there going to be crossover? Like, I don't know the dates because they're starting it in a way that I think it might be the last episode of Westworld is the week before the first episode of House of Dragon. So it's going to be really fun a time for HBO right there.
Thank you, Tracy G, for the super chat. Trail looks promising. I agree. The trailer.
Tracy, great to see Tracy.
Okay, I'm gonna geek out about the costumes. Whatever she's got on her head, I like it.
Yeah, this is the wedding right here.
Yeah,
This
she
is the
looks
wedding.
cool.
We see, and they got like it's like last Wednesday because they got the Blood Wednesday because they got the blood stain on their foreheads from their blood hands and stuff and all that. Instead of
Matt Smith has that creepy, I'm going to do creepy shit to you kind of look on his face.
Do people have? I mean, everywhere ash was. I mean, I see everyone walking around with ash on their forehead. Do you see that too? Or is this me?
Daily, Tony. Daily. It's every day.
I always wanted to go just to get the ash put on my forehead, so I could just walk around.
Is that a Catholic thing? I used to do that. I think it might be a Catholic thing.
Yeah. As growing up, all those things were amazing to me. I'm like, I want to eat that little wafer. I want to get some ash on my forehead. That's cool.
I've eaten the body of Christ many a time.
What's it taste like? Is it like a wafer? Is it like a wafer cracker or something?
Pretty dry.
My church, we went from those little dry, like thin wafer things to one time it was someone all of a sudden just started like baking bread. So we had like little pieces of bread.
Oh, dude, that's good. That's
it tasted so good. But it was so little. Like I love bread, so I want the whole loaf.
Eat me the body of Christ. Sorry, the tangent.
No,
real quick, there was a viral video. Some little girl in her like communion. She walked up. This happened like a day or two ago. She walked up to the priest, and her mom had said like, "What?" She's like, "What do I do?" She said, "Just take it, let it touch your like lips, and you don't even have to drink it." The little girl just started chugging it. The priest got really awkward, and then eventually she gave it back. They said that the girl was like buzzed at the after party.
I don't blame her. Jesus, chugging it like that. We have a picture here. The King's God, Sir Arthur Hightower.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I think Sir Arthur Hightower is a very important character in the first season for establishing like a fun. He's going to be a very interesting character, and if he's done right, he's going to push a lot of the action, a lot of the fun, a lot of the intrigue on the series. And I hope they do this character complete justice. And it looks like, again, I keep saying this, but it looks like from everything we can see that they are going to. But this is one of the characters I'm most interested to see in this first season because I think he's going to stir the pot a lot.
And Big E, I was going to say that Big E, but you beat me to it. Definitely has the Magneto helmet going on here.
Totally. I was going to say Dr. Dread or something like that.
Dr. Doom. Yeah, Dr. Doom and shit.
It's Judge, you would say Judge Dredd, I think.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Judge Dredd. But it's definitely the Magneto helmet going on.
It's got the like coming in.
So what up to my man Quentin is up in the building rocking with us. What up to my brother? Right?
So what's interesting though is that like when I look at this helmet, I kind of think it's like a little cheesy, whatever, just because I'm such a geek. That, I want the horns and the dragon wings, but in reality, you don't want any of that stuff on your helm because that just that's something for like a sword to clash. Yeah, you know what I mean. So this is actually a very practical helm.
I say when you hear about things in the books, it sounds great, but in reality, it's just not going to come off.
Because like a sword hits you in like your antler and you're like, my neck. You know what I mean? It's just dumb to wear a helm like that.
So you hear Daemon is like, I'll fight back because he's got people backing him up. But I think if it's him being thrown down he got caught off guard. You know what I mean? And dragged in there.
That's him with the gold cloaks, and he's got the dragon egg.
Yeah, that's the same scene.
Oh yeah, so
Really.
so that goes to my point that they may expand this whole situation and set up a Jamie Ned fight scene between him and Hightower's men over this egg.
Well, he's gotten his ass kicked a couple of times by Kristen Cole, so I don't know if you want to fight him again.
Yo, what's so sweet though
We're
is
gonna see it though. We're gonna see it at least once.
Think about that dynamic though. The gold cloaks technically work for the king, but in that situation, those gold cloaks had his back. It looks like it's cool.
Well, it's the Littlefinger situation, right? Like who, like he's told Ned Stark who are they loyal to? The person who pays their salary. And that's what Ned Stark thought he had the City Watch on his side. He had shit. He had nothing. He went there with nothing and got the cat's-paw dagger to his neck. And that was it. What dragon is this? I don't know what dragon.
Yeah,
but
Bridge, what do you think, Bridge?
I think that he's scared of this dragon at this time, though. When you see his face, it's not his dragon. You know, when he's here, because he's nervous about being around this dragon.
We only know of a couple dragons that supposedly had clutches of eggs. So you've got Rhaenyra's dragon, Syrax. At this time, that dragon would be too young. So Vhagar maybe, but Vhagar would be so much bigger. So I'm guessing either this is like a cavern with several dragons, or this has to be Dreamfire, because Dreamfire would be having clutches.
This is what he's doing. He's stealing a dragon's egg for his baby at this time.
Someone wrote that in the comment section of my video, and it resonated. It seems like that's logical. It makes sense.
Now someone says cannibal trying to eat some hatchlings.
I don't know. I'm biased towards cannibal because it's unreasonable, but there's rumors that cannibal was there. So Aegon the Conqueror was like the 5th or 6th generation on Dragonstone. His family came over from Valyria 114 years or something like that before, right? There are some rumors that cannibal had been alive there on Driftmark since before the Targaryens even arrived. If that's true, granted, all dragons grow it. You know, like Drogon's dragon egg was bigger than Rhaegal's and Viserys' dragon egg. So even when they were first born, Drogon was already the bigger hatchling, besides them getting locked up. So someone like Cannibal, maybe he's a smaller dragon, but if he's that old, I'm picturing him as I want him to be a monstrous, huge dragon.
Freaking huge.
So that's why I would hope that this isn't Cannibal.
And that's why I hope they're saving the biggest dragons. Like everything that we've seen in the trailer is just going to pale in comparison to what we actually see when they get into it in the series and some of these older dragons. Dragon Demand. Speaking of the Dragon Demand says, "Oh come on." Cannibal would have been older than Balerion if he was on Dragonstone before the Valerians. Someone says,
because at this point, if he was that old, it's like, let's say this is at 120 BC, right? So at this point, like Balerion only lived to 220. At this point, the Cannibal, if he was there before the Targaryens, he would be like at least 235, 240 years old. Like he's got to be a huge dragon. In terms of size, though, like I personally want the Cannibal to be the biggest of all the dragons. That's unlikely, though. Most likely it's going to be Vhagar, because if Vhagar wasn't the biggest dragon, I think it would be noted that Cannibal was the biggest.
And I also agree with Dragon Demands. Yeah, as far as we know, it could just be a CGI placeholder for this particular season. They haven't even figured it out yet. I think it's Sheep Stealer or Cannibal because he seems afraid. And
he's afraid. It's not a dragon he's used to.
Well, I mean, any dragon that you're not bonded to, you're going to be afraid of. That's my take. Like, it's a freaking dragon. Especially if you're stealing its eggs, right? That's why I think it's probably.
I mean, you'd be afraid of a fucking dog that you ain't used to. I don't want a fucking dragon.
It's true.
But the thing about it, see, here's the thing of why I almost didn't want it to be Dreamfire. Also, Dreamfire's at this time, well, not at this time, maybe not 100. At this time, like let's say 85 to 90 years old. Like that Dreamfire should be a monstrous dragon too.
Without a shadow of doubt. Those are all the pictures that we got from this trailer. It took us 2 hours to get through them.
This is about right. That's about right.
Because I had to drift and talk about like boobs and stuff.
No, just don't drift at anything.
I was talking about like television history and some random reason and stuff too. So we all went on the sides. But as we're starting to wrap things up, if anyone has any last minute voicemails, 781-990-8509. Thank you to everyone that's called in, and obviously thank you to all of our super chatters as well. It's been
even the ones who just super chat just to...
Oh yeah, not all the super chatters.
Who just wanted to super chat this
time. But in fairness, not to go too far down this road, but you know, like they were paying you at least.
Yeah, at least you paid me this time. The other times you come on here and say racist stuff for free.
Freaking douchey.
Now you said racist, got paid to say racist
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
out here.
that's how douchey they were. They were paying to fucking say douchebag, fucking pathetic asshole shit.
You know, that's what it is. And listen, I've been on this, doing this for a long time, man, in all honesty. And still I have to deal with racist people in the comment section, you know what I mean? And all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the people who support me and who are down with me and don't look at me as a, oh, what's this black dude talking about the show, whatever it is. Whatever these people don't want me talking about the show, ain't never wanted me talking about the show. No, I don't speak the Queen's English, and I don't get every name right, and I don't know how to. I don't know the fake history perfectly. I'm sorry about that, but I'm 100% official. I'm 100% real, and that's just what it is, and that's what it always will be. So I apologize for anyone, who had to deal with that and watch these
And
people.
if you
come
mess
here.
with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Hopefully one day I get a chance to see this person in comment and say, hey, this is me. I mean, I'll just choke him real quick and I'll just forget, you know what I mean? I'll just put him in the headlock and let him know.
Yeah, bring it to the ring. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll better call Saul this. Tony will put on the headgear. He'll put on the.
I won't put on shit. I'll let you wear it, and I won't put on shit.
And he'll knock your ass out. He accepts all challenges to a fair boxing match right now. Bridge and I will be there.
I will not wear headgear at all. You can wear headgear. I'll wear bigger gloves than you. You can have smaller gloves, whatever you
Call on in. Leave the information. We'll set this shit up and we'll see what happens.
Let him come. Let him come, please, gosh.
Bring it.
God isn't that good to me and everything else like that. So it is what it is and stuff like that. Let's see. Red Laddie. I've never seen this person before, so let's highlight this comment. According to Mushroom, a white cloak found Daemon in his bed with his niece could be why the white cloaks could be manhandling Daemon in that scene. That definitely is real.
Will we see Mushroom?
Yes. What do you think, Bridge? I think you have to at least see him.
Oh, I hope so, because he seems like he'd be pretty funny. I kind of want to see him.
But in fairness, Game of Thrones has, like, with Stannis, what am I blanking on Stannis? Like, they're a history of dropping out characters like that.
Yeah, but you could make the argument that he would be, because you know how earlier we were saying, like, who are we going to root for? And, like, are we going to like anyone, like, good guys versus bad guys? I feel like Mushroom's the kind of character that, like, he'd universally be loved by everyone. Even though he's a dirty little man.
Dude, it would be amazing. He'd be the most popular character.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to have a big role. I just think you'll see him in the background. Here, I mean, in the show, he's in the books, he's someone who gives his accounts.
Exactly.
I think he'll just be there so he can give his accounts later on in the book, if the book ever got written, just like we see in Sam write A Song of Ice and Fire and stuff like that. You have to see him there, but you just see him there anyway. You know, but he won't have a big role. You just see him in the background, and all you hear his name mentioned. Mushroom, get in here, and it'll change the scene before you see him.
Now, Tony and Bridge, I wanna ask. Oh, not this question. But that's a good question. But Sidro asks here: should people leading into this series read Fire and Blood leading in, or should they be naked to this stuff? What do you guys think?
Would you rather? It doesn't bother me to know what's going to happen. I'm like one of these people that doesn't bother. I still find it entertaining. You know what I mean? Just like Game of Thrones, I knew the Red Wedding was going to happen, but it still shocked me when I seen it. You know what I mean? So I like that. You know what I mean? So it depends how you are as a person.
Yeah, like I didn't going into, because the books weren't fully written for Game of Thrones. Like I didn't want to know about Littlefinger and Mysaria and stuff like that, because that's just a spoiler of a specific event. Like that does nothing for me. But books, yeah, like the books are going to spoil the show for you. But the books are a story in their own right, and they give birth to a story within your head. In terms of just real quick review of the book, so you've got like normal books are going to have like a lot of prose, back and forth scenes, intimate scenes with characters. Then you have something like The World of Ice and Fire. That's kind of like an encyclopedia, a dictionary. Fire and Blood is like a hybrid between a dictionary and an actual novel or a novella. And it's not entirely awesome, but most of it is pretty freaking awesome. I would 100% recommend reading or listening to Fire and Blood. It's spectacular. There's actually also another novella called it's The Rogue Prince. It's an anthology called Rogues. So that's also, it gives you more detail, more color about
And then
Daemon
and then
Targaryen.
there's one more, I believe, as well, that tells some of those stories. And as Julia
There's-
said, patch face, yeah, with no patch face and no penny, I fear no mushroom, but I hope that this series understands the texture of the world, and I think mushroom would add to it.
So there's another one called The Princess and the Queen, the Blacks and the Greens, which is the Dance of the Dragons. That was almost verbatim taken directly into Fire and Blood. So the same with like part of Fire and Blood is called Sons of the Dragon. That's Magor. So it's, I mean, that's effectively taken verbatim into Fire and Blood. So I would say I would definitely recommend reading or listening to Fire and Blood as well as The Rogue Prince.
And the Dragon Demand adds, you can jump in halfway through Fire and Blood, starting with the chapter Heirs of the Dragon, roughly at the halfway point. And we got another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Quentin. People saying that young Rihanna looks like Emilia Clarke. I don't see it. Do you think she looks like Emilia Clarke, Bridge? Do you think she looks like Daenerys?
I mean, they're both girls.
Well, yeah, they're both blondes with hair and girls.
No,
I don't know.
not big enough to be Emilia Clarke. Emilia Clarke's ass is pretty nice naked. I seen him walking into that water. I don't think this one's holding that type of weight.
I'm going to say yes, just to side with the person who wrote that comment.
I don't think he said it did. He said people. He said he did. Right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they both look Targaryen. Like actually on one of the other scenes, I was gonna say like one of the scenes with Rhaenyra. You know, a lot of shows when they wear the wigs, it's like you can tell that's a freaking wig. Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, they do a great job putting these wigs on and making it look like it's that person's hair.
Everything looks pretty good so far with that. I agree.
Such a top tier show, it really is. I can't wait.
All right, let's get up out of here. Thank you for everyone rocking with us. We appreciate it. Again, I appreciate everyone for rocking with us, hanging out with us, and everything else and all that. Bridge 4, let the people know exactly what's happening on your channel, what's coming, what they can expect.
Yeah, the very next video, it's taking me forever. It's about an hour long, and it's for Wheel Time. So I'm going to be focused on Wheel Time, and I'm actually finally getting back to House of the Dragon, just doing a lot of regurgitation and my own interpretations. I'm going to layer in some theories into history and lore videos leading into House of the Dragon. So that's what's coming up next.
Nice.
What's going on with you, Phil? What's coming up on your channel?
We're basically covering I'm covering the final season of Better Call Saul, having a lot of fun after every episode on Monday nights going live. So make sure you come and join. Having a lot of fun, having some great turnouts the last couple of weeks, especially this week. It's been a lot of fun talking about Better Call Saul in this final season, really fulfilling expectations, unlike some other shows in their final season. So if you're into that show, if you're watching it, if you're along for the ride of that, make sure you subscribe over to me and join me every week after every episode to talk about that. Also, some other fun stuff coming up and some other fun shows, and I hope to have Bridge and Tony on soon to talk about some nonsense.
Nice. We should get together and do the Ozark thing and just do the finale thing of Ozark. We all watch that and all that. We should probably get together and get that done and everything else. All right. I'll be doing I have a video on From tomorrow and a live stream later on with Phil on From and stuff. So I'm dropping those tomorrow.
I will be here. I might be looking like this while watching the Celtics game while doing the stream, but I'll be here. All
right. So we'll see you then tomorrow. If you like the way this, please thumbs up, this spread this across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.